At the beginning of the story, a gigantic monster appeared out of nowhere and began to destroy everything. The people in the city were terrified to see this monster. They all ran for their lives. While the people were running, a young boy stood in the middle of the street and was staring at the monster. While looking at the monster, the boy feels an odd sensation in his face. When the boy looked down, he noticed that was an electric energy in his hand. The boy was hit with a mystical power. He began to scream in pain and fall into an unknown abyss. The scene shifts and we see a mysterious energy enters our protagonist's brain. The boy wakes up immediately. The energy touched his head. The boy realized that he had awakened his talent, but he did not understand why he had such unique vision. He wonders if he is hallucinating because of his awakening. 100 years ago, countless spatial rifts opened up above Earth. Fierce dimensional beasts invaded the planet and threatened humanity's survival. However, the dimensional energy also stimulated humanity's talents. A small number of humans awakened talents, and this led the way for the era of talents. After the boy woke up, his sister came to check on him. She asked him if he has finished awakening his talent. When the boy heard this, he picks up a rock that has a rune on it. The rock told the boy that the talent he awakened was a weak tier talent. The boy was disappointed to see this. He knew that a weak tier talent was not useful to him. He believed that he is screwed for the rest of his life. He throws the rock on the floor and wonders how he is going to protect his sister if he cannot become a martial warrior. His sister barges into his room and asked him how his talent evaluation went with a curious look. The boy smiles and tells his sister that his talent is excellent. His sister was very happy to hear this. With a smile on his face, the boy told his sister that he will become a powerful martial warrior and protect her. His sister jumps up in happiness and says that her big brother is the best. She told the boy to come into the living room because she has made his favorite dish to celebrate his awakening. While the girl was leaving his room, a status window appears in front of him. The status window displayed his sister's name, which is Yiyu, her cultivation talent, which is low tier, and her frost talent, which is low tier and unawakened. The boy was surprised to see the status window. He did not understand why it appeared before him. He reached his hand out to touch the status window. Immediately he did this. The status window displayed his information. His name is Yution and his cultivation talent is weak tier. Yution was shocked to see his own information. While he was staring at the status window, his sister held his hand and told him to come eat before the food get cold. The moment Yu touched her brother's hand, another status window appeared in front of him. The status window said that Yu's cultivation talent and frost talent can be copied. Yution was surprised to see this. He did not understand what it meant. The system asked him if he wanted to copy his sister's talents. Yution could not believe that he could copy other people's talents. He immediately realized that this ability can change his situation. Yution went to the dining room to eat with his sister. He knew that his ability to copy talents is powerful, but he did not want to test it on his little sister. He decided to not copy her talent. Yution knew that his sister-based talent is better than his, and when she awakens her frost talent, which is extremely rare, she will be able to dominate her opponents. After realizing that he and his sister are blessed with amazing abilities, he looks at a picture of their dead parents and tells them that they can be at ease now. Yution decided to go into the city. When he arrived there, he decided to test his ability. The moment he activated his ability, the system scanned the area for talents. After activating his ability for a while, Yution realized that the system's effective range of viewing someone's talent is 3 meters. After searching for a while, Yution realized that the ability of the people here are all low tier. He wanted to copy a mid-tier talent. He decided to go to the academy to check for talents. He knew that he could enter the academy since he also awakened a talent even though the talent is a weak tier talent. Yution knew that copying someone's talent might also cause his talent to change, so he cannot apply to an academy that requires a talent evaluation. He decided to go to the Linhai-based 5th Academy. Yution knew that there will be a lot of people at this academy who have mid-tier talent. He smiles when he realized that he will be stronger than all the people at this academy thanks to his copy talent. 10 days later, Yution went to the 3rd Martial Stadium of the Linhai-based 5th Academy. He is now a student of the academy. In class, an instructor tells the students that if they want to become martial warriors, they must first be martial apprentices, and in order to become a martial apprentice, one must first learn the body training technique. The instructor decided that he will teach them the body training technique today. He told the students that they have succeeded in learning the technique once they managed to create an air vortex in front of their chest. Yution and his fellow students began to practice the technique. After some time, some students started fainting. A chubby boy next to Yution informs the instructor that some students are passing out. The instructor tells the boy to ignore the useless pieces of trash and focus on himself. Yution was surprised that he was not able to create an air vortex. He wondered if his talent is too low to help him cultivate. After all the students fainted and Yution was the only one left practicing, the instructor tells them that the class is over. He reveals to the students that they are the worst students he has ever taught in his life. With a terrifying look on his face, the instructor tells the students that they should follow in the example of Qindong and keep their motivations a bit higher. After the class was over, Yution asked his chubby friend Zhang Bao who Qindong is. Zhang Bao told Yution that Qindong is not an ordinary student. He told him that Qindong became a martial apprentice in half a month, and the principal took him in as his disciple. Zhang Bao brought out a paper with a signature on it. He told Yution that once Qindong becomes as strong as their principal, his signature will probably sell for a lot of money. Yution was surprised to see how calculative Zhang Bao was. While walking in the school, Yution noticed that a lot of students were excited. The students were happy to see Qindong. The moment Qindong came outside, students began to ask for his autograph. Zhang Bao ran towards Qindong to get another autograph. Yution smiled when he saw Qindong. He quickly activated his ability to check his talent. Qindong's cultivation talent was mid-tier. After seeing his talent level, Yution decided to greet him. With an arrogant look on his face, Qindong told the students to chill out. He told them that he came to encourage everyone on behalf of the teachers. He asked them to stop asking for his autograph because he will become a laughingstock if his friends found out. After hearing what Qindong said, Yution asked him to shake them if they cannot get his autograph. Qindong accepted this idea. He began to shake hands with different students and give them encouraging words. When it was finally Yution's turn, he smiled in a sinister way. The moment he touched Qindong's hand, their hands began to glow. Qindong told Yution to work hard. After shaking everyone, Qindong decided to leave. As Qindong was leaving, Yution smiled because he had gotten his talent. At night, Yution went to a cave in the mountains. In the cave, he looks at his status window. The status window told him that he has successfully copied the talent. It asked him if he would like to fuse the talent. Yution wondered if the talent will be good or bad after the fusion. He was also curious about the scene he saw before he got his talent. Because he does not understand what it means, he decided to stop being curious and fuse the talent. The moment he accepted the fusion, tiny balls of light appeared around him. He began to feel pain in his chest. He grabbed his chest and started screaming. While crawling on the floor, he says that he never expected the talent fusion to be so painful. After a while, the pain began to slowly leave his body and his cultivation talent changed to mid-tier. After seeing the change in his talent, he realized that the pain he went through was worth it. A status window appeared in front of him and told him that the cool-down time for his talent is 30 days. Yution immediately understood that he can copy a talent every 30 days. He could not believe how overpowered his talent was. He decided to try the body training technique that the teacher taught them. Immediately he got into position. An air vortex appeared in front of his chest. Yution could not believe how easy it was for him to reach this stage. He immediately realized that his talent can make him surpass a martial warrior and become a great martial warrior. 1 month later, a monster entered the city. The scene shifts and we see a young girl and her father pass by Yution. The girl asked her father what they will have for dinner. Her father said that they will eat whatever she wants. As the father and daughter walked further away from Yution, Yution thinks about how he has become a martial apprentice and how he still has a long way to go before he becomes a martial warrior. The scene shifts and we see blood in the air and a lamp falls down. The monster bit the father's head off. Yution turned around when he felt an odd sensation. He saw blood in the air. The little girl called out for her father while Yution was completely frozen in fear. The people on the street began to run when they saw the giant wolf. Yution was very surprised to see a monster for the first time. The monster grit its teeth and rushed to attack the little girl. Yution noticed this, so he grabbed the girl and ran. Unfortunately, the monster was very fast. Yution knew that he could not outrun it. Suddenly, a man comes from the sky while swinging a huge sword. The man aimed to behead the monster, but it was able to dodge the man's attack. The huge man wearing a red cape apologized for coming late. Yution asked the man for his identity. The man told Yution that people call him Captain Galewolf. He told Yution that he will deal with the Silver Moon Wolf, but he wants him to take care of the little girl. Yution accepted the man's offer. Immediately, Yution accepted the deal. Captain Galewolf rushed to attack the monster. Captain Galewolf attacked the Silver Moon Wolf with his sword, but the monster was blocking his attack with its claws. Yution covered the little girl's eyes to stop her from witnessing any violence. While fighting, Captain Galewolf was surprised by how strong the monster is. He successfully pushed it back, but the monster rushed to attack him again. Captain Galewolf already knew that the Silver Moon Wolf is a very fast monster, but he never expected it to be able to dodge his attacks. Fortunately for Captain Galewolf, his teammates arrived to help him. When the Silver Moon Wolf saw Galewolf's teammate, it tried to run away. Galewolf's teammate noticed that the wolf wanted to run away, so they signaled their captain. The Silver Moon Wolf ran towards Captain Galewolf. Thanks to this, Galewolf was able to trap and stab the monster. Galewolf's teammate asked him if the monster is dead. Galewolf was about to reply when he noticed something odd about the monster. The monster turned red and began to scream. Galewolf told his teammates that the monster is going into blood burst mode, so they all have to be careful. When his teammates heard this, they moved away from the monster. When the monster entered blood burst mode, it began to run away. Yution informed Galewolf that the monster is getting away. Galewolf smiles and tells Yution not to worry about it. As the monster got to the top of a building, it sees an archer who tells it that she has been waiting for it. The archer released her arrow, and it hit the Silver Moon Wolf in midair. The wolf falls in front of Yution and Captain Galewolf. Galewolf told the monster that it is still too weak to fight against his team. While the team was discussing among themselves, Yution noticed something on top of the monster's corpse. The system displayed the monster's blood talent, which is low tier, and its speed talent, which is novice tier. Yution was surprised to see the monster's talents. While staring at the monster, he noticed that the monster was slowly getting up. Galewolf and his team were talking among themselves while the monster was doing its best to get up. When Galewolf noticed that the monster had regained its strength, he immediately alerted his teammates. He told them to watch out for the monster. The moment his teammates heard this, they moved away from the monster. After getting up, the Silver Moon Wolf screamed with all its strength to scare the people around it. Galewolf's teammates asked him for their next course of action. Galewolf told them not to worry because the monster is in a weakened state. He told them that he will deal with the monster himself. Galewolf told Yution to leave the premises immediately because it is no longer safe. Yution smiled when he saw the situation at hand. He believed that this situation created the perfect opportunity for him. Yution ignored Galewolf's orders and ran past him. He used all his strength to hit the monster on its head. Immediately, he hit the monster on its head. A status window appeared to notify him that he has successfully copied the monster's talents. He clenched his fist and jumped to the monster's back. With a menacing look on his face, he began to hit the monster mercilessly. Every time he hit the monster, a status window notified him that he has successfully copied the monster's talents. Even after he was notified that he has successfully copied the monster's talents, he continued to attack the monster endlessly. The moment Yution saw the monster's blood, he smiled like a crazy person. He put his hand up and was ready to hit the monster again, but Galewolf stopped him and told him that the monster is already dead. Yution was confused when he heard this, but he was happy that he was able to successfully copy the monster's talents. Galewolf ordered his teammates to clean the area up. He told them to pack the corpses of the Silver Moon Wolf and the dead father. He ordered his archer to take care of the little girl. After his team was done packing, he bid Yution farewell and told him that he looks forward to seeing him in his squad once he becomes a martial warrior. With a bright smile on his face, Yution told Galewolf that he would also like that. The scene shifts and we see Yution in a public bathroom. He washed off the blood of the monster because if his sister saw this, she would be upset and scared. Yution looked at the mirror and noticed how cold his gaze had become. He decided to head home. When he arrived at his house, he found his sister sleeping on the couch. He was very relieved to see her. He reflects on how today is his first time seeing a monster and how it was 100 times more terrifying than what he heard in the stories. He gets a blanket to cover her. When he looked at his sister's face, he realized that he has to become a martial warrior as soon as possible in order to protect her. He steps into his room with a rag in his hand. He opened his status window and sat on his bed. He wondered if the talents of a monster can be fused into the body of a human. He looks at the talents of the Silver Moon Wolf with determination in his eyes. He knows that fusing the talents of a monster can be more painful than his previous fusion, and it might even be life-threatening, but he decided to do it anyway because he wants to become stronger in order to protect the people who are important to him. He puts the rag in his mouth and prepares to fuse the talent. The moment Yution began to fuse the speed talent, his bones began to break apart. Yution's legs shattered and broke into pieces. The rag fell out of his mouth and he screamed in pain. When Yution looked at his legs, all he could see was blood on the floor. He thought that his talent copying failed. He slowly closed his eyes and began to lose consciousness. He thought that he was going to die. He could not believe that he was going to leave his sister in this horrible world. The scene shifts and we see Yution wake up the next morning. He was surprised that he was still alive. He wondered about what happened to him. He looks at his legs and noticed that it is completely healed. He decided to test his leg out by standing up, but instead, he made a clean, fast kick. He was surprised by how light his body had become. When he looked at his status window, he realized that he has successfully copied the speed talent. In a forest next to the academy, Yution decided to test his new ability. He ran at an incredible speed that made it look like lightning was coming out of his legs. Yution was very excited to use his new talent. He could not believe that he could get a view of the world in such a different way. After running for a while, he jumps down from a mountain and lands on his feet. He was convinced that the talent of the Silver Moon Wolf is very amazing. After testing his new ability to his satisfaction, he sits on a boulder and began to practice. He reflects on how his speed is now comparable to that of a martial warrior, but his overall power is still severely lacking. He wishes that he can find a way to increase the speed of his cultivation. While he was cultivating, Zhang Bao came to greet him. He told Yution that he has looked all over the academy for him. When Zhang Bao saw Yution's body, he was surprised. He immediately knew that Yution had broken through to the martial apprentice stage. He moves close to Yution and asked him if he wants to get stronger in a much faster way. Yution asked Zhang Bao if he knows a method that can help him. Zhang Bao asked Yution if he has ever drank monster blood. Yution thought that Zhang Bao was crazy when he heard this. He told Zhang Bao that he has never drank any monster's blood. With a smug look on his face, Zhang Bao told Yution that the only reason he improved faster than anyone else was because he drank monster's blood. Yution was surprised when he heard this. He could not believe that monster's blood could improve one's cultivation speed. He felt bad when he realized that he could have gotten a lot of blood from the Silver Moon Wolf. Zhang Bao revealed to Yution that he has a way of getting their hands on some monster's blood. He asked Yution if he is interested. With a curious look on his face, Yution asked Zhang Bao to tell him the method. Zhang Bao revealed to Yution that the higher-ups of the Linhai base have opened up a new wild zone outside the city, and they have designated it as an exam area for their 5 major academies. The prize for the exam is monster blood. Yution asked Zhang Bao for the level of the new wild zone. Zhang Bao told him that the wild zone is a low-level one, and most of the monsters have already been cleared out. All that is left are the beasts, which are descendants of the monsters. After hearing out Zhang Bao, Yution believed that the opportunity was worth a try. Zhang Bao asked Yution if he wants to join his squad in order for them to get the monster blood together. Yution had a look of displeasure on his face when he heard Zhang Bao's offer. Zhang Bao was surprised to see the look of Yution's face. He told Yution that he revealed this secret to him because he considers Yution a good friend. Yution smiles and tells Zhang Bao that he will join his squad next time. Immediately he said this. He decided to leave. Zhang Bao was sad to hear this. He told Yution that he never expected him to be so cold-hearted. While walking, Yution contemplates on how teaming up with others can be dangerous, especially if people find out about his special ability. He decides that he has to go on this mission alone. He assures himself that he will definitely get the monster blood and break through to the martial warrior realm. A month later, Yution went to his instructor's office. His instructor asked him for the reason he came to sign up if he had not received the exam invitation. He asked Yution if somebody leaked the information about the exam to him. Yution told the instructor that he has already become a martial apprentice, so he is qualified to attend the exam. With a villainous smile on his face, the instructor told Yution that he wanted the students to live longer, but it seems that they are eager to die. He threw a paper at Yution's face. When Yution picked up the paper, he saw that a contract was written on it. This contract is called the Life Responsibility Agreement. The instructor told Yution that he has to sign this contract if he wants to take this exam. Yution became silent when he heard this. The instructor took Yution's silence as him being scared. He shouted at Yution and told him to piss off if he is afraid to die. The scene shifts and we see Yution leaving the instructor's office with a smile on his face. Yution signed the contract. After Yution left, the instructor smiles and says that this exam was not made for poor students like them. He said that the students will regret their decision. The scene shifts and we see Yu wake up in the morning. She was about to head into Yution's room to wake him up when she noticed that there was a lot of food on the table. She was surprised to see the different dishes that Yution cooked. She wondered what occasion Yution was celebrating for him to cook so much food. While looking at the different dishes, she sees a yellow paper on the table. The paper contained a message written by Yution. Yution wrote that his school has an event and he will be back in 3 days' time. Yu was surprised to see the message. She wondered what kind of school event takes 3 days. She hoped that her brother won't be in danger. The scene shifts and we see an abandoned ruined area. Countless martial artists gathered in this area. At the 5th Academy section, Yution and Zhang Bao stood together. Yution was very surprised to see so much martial artists in one place. Zhang Bao told Yution that everyone here is from the 5 major academies. A young boy standing next to a huge man smiles when he sees the people from the 5th Academy. He says that he did not expect trash from a garbage academy to attend the exam. The huge man, who happens to be the boy's bodyguard, smiles in a sinister way and tells the boy that people are allowed to hunt beasts and other humans during the exam. The boy was happy to hear this. He says that the weak should feel blessed that they are hunted by the strong. Zhang Bao points at the rude boy and tells Yution that the boy's name is Imo Xiaobei and he is a genius from the 1st Academy. He told Yution that Xiaobei is the strongest of the younger generation of the Imo family. When Yution heard that Xiaobei was from the Imo family, he understood why he is arrogant. While Yution and Zhang Bao are talking, a young boy enters the 1st Academy's camp with his sword. The people of the 1st Academy were annoyed to see this. They began to yell at the boy. The boy walked up to Xiaobei and told him to stand in front of him because he wants to chop Xiaobei into pieces. Xiaobei smiled and asked the boy if he wants to lose to him again. When Yution saw how the boy behaved to Xiaobei, he asked Zhang Bao for the boy's identity. Zhang Bao told Yution that the boy's name is Li Yunxing, and he is a genius swordsman from the 2nd Academy. Yunxing has been defeated by Xiaobei in the past. When Yution's instructor saw Yunxing, he got angry. He believed that Yunxing was another ignorant peasant who did not know his place. He told his students to focus on themselves and stop messing around. Yution was angry to hear this. He could not believe that his instructor was so stupid. He began to cheer for Yunxing. He told Yunxing to do his best. Yunxing was surprised to see someone cheering for him. He wondered if Yution was not afraid of Xiaobei. As Yunxing and Xiaobei's fight was getting heated, someone used a microphone to tell the students that fighting outside the wild zone is prohibited. Anyone who disobeys this rule will be disqualified from the exam. Yunxing was angry to hear the announcement. He told Xiaobei that he will let him live longer. He put his sword away and told Xiaobei that he will beat him senseless once they step into the wild zone. Xiaobei smiled and called Yunxing an undisciplined mutt. Yunxing walked up to Yution and told him that he has a lot of courage to be cheering him on. He asked Yution for his name. Yution introduced himself to Yunxing and told him that he is from the 5th Academy. Yution activated his ability and was able to see Yunxing's talent. Yunxing had a low-tier cultivation talent and a mid-tier sword talent. Yution was surprised to see a decent sword talent. He reached his hand out to shake Yunxing. He told Yunxing that he should make sure that he surpasses Xiaobei in the exam. Yunxing was happy to hear this. He shook Yution's hand and told him that he should also do well in the exam. The moment Yunxing shook Yution's hand, a status window appeared in front of Yution to notify him that he has successfully copied the talent. After a while, an announcer used a microphone to tell people that the exam has begun. 2 large men opened the gates of the wild zone and the announcer told the 1st Academy students to enter first. Immediately he said this. Xiaobei and his fellow students rushed into the wild zone. Zhang Bao was very excited to see that the exams had begun. He told Yution that he has to find his teammates. He told him that he will meet him in the wild zone later. Yution told him to be careful in the wild zone. While stretching his body, Yunxing told Yution that the 1st Academy gets to enter the wild zone first. After that, The second academy which he belongs to will enter, and the fifth academy will go in last. Yunqing told Yutian that the world is such a cruel and unfair place. After saying this, he bid Yutian farewell. Immediately Yunqing left. Yutian ran into a forest. After running for a while, Yutian stopped when he felt that he had completely escaped the eyes of people. He put his weapons down and opened his status window. The system asked him if he would like to fuse the mid-tier sword talent. Yutian accepted this offer. Immediately he did this, he began to feel pain all over his body. After already going through this pain twice before, Yutian was slowly getting used to it. He fell on his knees and grit his teeth. He says that he must become stronger. After a while, a bright light shined and Yutian's pain slowly left his body. He stood up and brought out a sword to test his new power. The moment he started using his sword, he began to cut down the trees around him at a shocking speed. After Yutian had tested his new talent, he decided to head back to the camp. The moment he reached the camp, the 5th Academy students were asked to enter the Wild Zone. The moment Yutian stepped into the Wild Zone, a giant snake began to stalk him. After walking for a while, Yutian sensed the presence of an entity at his back. As the beast got ready to devour Yutian, he brought out his sword and got in position. He attacked the beast head-on. Thanks to his sword talent, he cut the beast into two. After killing the monster, he stood on its neck and removed its eyes. After gouging out the beast's eyes, Yutian said that the beasts in this place are unexpectedly weak. He knows that he has to continue to kill this weak beast because of the rules which states that the more beasts you kill, the higher your rank will be. Yutian wonders about how many points he will need to achieve first place. The first place of the exam will get 3 mid-tier beast blood and 100,000 yuan. The second place will get 1 mid-tier beast blood and 100,000 yuan. The third place will receive 3 low-tier beast blood and 50,000 yuan. All the people from 4th to the 10th positions will receive 1 low-tier beast blood. Yutian was sad when he realized that he has such a long way to go before he can achieve first place. He decided to leave his current hunting area to check for more beasts. While he was running at full speed, he hears someone scream for help. He stops running when he heard the person and went to check what was happening. He saw someone who was surrounded by different beasts. When Yutian looked at the face of the person in danger, he immediately realized that the person is Zhang Bao. While shaking in fear, Zhang Bao says that he does not want to die yet when he has not even gotten married. One of the beasts that surrounded him decided to attack him. The moment the beast jumped, Zhang Bao immediately dropped his weapon and ran. After seeing the situation at hand, Yutian immediately brought out his arrow and shot it at the beast. The arrow hit the beast in its stomach. Zhang Bao was shocked to see this. Immediately Yutian killed the beast. He jumped down and told Zhang Bao that he wants to kill the remaining beasts and get the points for himself. Zhang Bao was surprised to see Yutian. He told Yutian to run away because he is no match for the Fang Wolves. Yutian activated his speed talent and ran into the middle of the Fang Wolves. The wolves decided to attack Yutian together. Yutian brought out his sword and activated his sword talent. He used a technique called cut to split the beast into two. Zhang Bao could not believe what he was seeing. He could not believe that Yutian was so powerful. After slaying the beasts, Yutian began to remove their body parts. He asked Zhang Bao if he is allowed to take the fangs of the wolf. Zhang Bao told him to take everything. Yutian asked Zhang Bao if he is going to continue hunting in his current state. Zhang Bao told Yutian that he has given up and will no longer hunt. He told Yutian that the exam is too dangerous and that he is lucky to be alive. More importantly, all his teammates are heavily injured, so he needs to take them out as soon as possible. He said that his teammates need to survive at least. With a look of relief on his face, Yutian tells Zhang Bao that he made the right decision. After saying this, Yutian decided to leave. Zhang Bao stops him and tells him to be careful because there is a pseudo-beast in the area. Yutian was surprised to hear this. The strongest beasts are called fierce beasts. After the fierce beasts, pseudo-beasts are the second strongest and average beasts are the weakest. Zhang Bao told Yutian that the students of the first academy are fighting a spotted snake that is over 10 meters. This snake is a pseudo-beast. Zhang Bao told Yutian that the pseudo-beast is worth 500 points. Yutian was extremely happy to hear this. He grabbed Zhang Bao and asked him for the direction to the beast. Zhang Bao told Yutian that the beast is in the southeast part of the Wild Zone. The southeastern part had an ominous energy around it, but Yutian ignored it and rushed towards the beast. He believed that he will be first place if he gets 500 points. After running for a while, he immediately stopped himself when he saw something unusual. He saw the dead bodies of different students on the ground. Thanks to their uniform, he could tell that the students belonged to the first academy. While looking at the students, he hears an explosion from a place close to him. He could immediately tell that this was the location he was looking for. He ran towards the site of the explosion. When he arrived there, he was surprised to see how huge a pseudo-beast was. Xiaobei was leading the students of the first academy to attack the giant snake. He told them to use everything in their arsenal to slay the beast because only he can claim the 500 points. All the students followed Xiaobei's order. Xiaobei's bodyguard also attacked the beast. He informed Xiaobei that the beast is running out of stamina and now would be the perfect time to defeat it. When Xiaobei heard what his bodyguard said, he immediately rushed to attack the giant snake. He jumped up and stabbed the beast in its head. He smiled when he heard the beast scream in pain. He became certain that he can kill the beast. The beast used its horn to push Xiaobei away. Xiaobei got thrown to a building. While on the ground, Xiaobei smiles because he was now certain that the beast is going to die. He said that the 500 points are now his. The beast rolled around in pain until it finally gave up and fell down. Yutian was annoyed to see this. He could not believe that the beast actually got killed. He regretted the fact that he came late. Xiaobei moved the boulders around him and went to meet his classmates. His bodyguard and classmates congratulated him for killing the snake. Xiaobei laughs and says that he will be getting first place just as he deserves. Immediately Xiaobei said this. The snake opened its eyes and got up. Its body became purple and it released a frightening roar. It beat up all the students that were close to it. When Xiaobei saw how the snake behaved, he immediately knew that the beast had entered its blood burst mode. After pushing the students that were around it, the beast ran away. Xiaobei told the beaten students to get up and chase after the beast. He informed them that the beast is no longer a pseudo-beast. It is now a full-fledged monster. The students of the first academy were terrified to hear this. They asked Xiaobei if it is smart for them to be chasing after a monster. Xiaobei told the students that they have to chase the monster because it is now worth 1,000 points. The students were shocked to hear this. They immediately ran after monster because they did not want anyone to steal the opportunity from them. Xiaobei knows that the attacks and the beatings the monster received from the students of his academy has made the monster weak and vulnerable. He was certain that he and his classmates have to reach the monster first before anyone else. Otherwise, all their efforts would be in vain. Yutian was very happy with the current situation. He could not believe that the monster was still alive, and it is now worth 1,000 points. Fortunately for him, he has a speed talent which makes him faster than anyone else. He got into position and activated his talent's maximum power. Immediately he did this. He ran at an insane speed. After running for a while, he began to slow down when he realized that he was ahead of the first academy students. He saw a trail of purple blood on the floor. After following the trail of blood, Yutian arrived at an abandoned store. He smiled when he realized that he was the first person to arrive here. He became certain that he will be getting the 1,000 points. When Yutian stepped into the store, the first thing he noticed was that the snake's stench is very strong. This made him certain that the snake was here. While looking around, he saw something very shocking. He saw the snake taking some drops of water. He did not know what kind of water this was, but he was certain that it is not a normal liquid. He brought out his sword and decided to worry about the water after he has killed the monster and obtained his 1,000 points. He rushed to attack the monster while it was distracted. Unfortunately for him, the monster noticed his presence. It immediately closed the gap between itself and Yutian. Yutian was surprised by how fast the monster was. The monster used its hand to attack Yutian. Yutian was able to avoid the attack, but his sword fell from his hand. While in midair, Yutian brings out his bow and 2 arrows and shot it at the monster. The arrow hit the monster in its eyes and made it blind. After landing on the ground, Yutian picked up his sword and rushed to attack the monster. He jumped on the monster's hand and stabbed it. The monster screamed in pain when it got stabbed. Yutian pushed his sword into the monster's skin. Due to the fact that the snake's skin was very strong, Yutian's hands and sword were shaking. Yutian screamed to boost his strength and began to cut the monster's hand into 2. He made countless cuts in the monster's body until it lost consciousness. After wiggling for a while, the monster lost its strength and died. Yutian was relieved to see this. He knew that he would not have been able to kill the monster if the students of the First Academy had not weakened it. He looks around and noticed that the mysterious liquid the snake was drinking was still dripping. He decided to get the liquid for himself because if it is something that a monster is after, then it must be a treasure. He brought out a bottle to get some of the liquid. He stepped on the monster's head and removed its eyeball to serve as proof of kill. The blood from the heart of a monster is extremely valuable, so Yution cut the heart and drained some of the monster's blood. After acquiring the blood he wanted and getting some of the mysterious liquid, he decided to cut the stone that was producing the liquid because he did not know what it is and he did not want Xiaobei to acquire the stone. After calculating the amount of points he acquired, Yution was certain that he will be first place in the exam. After packing all his items up, he decided to leave this place. After Yution left, Xiaobei and the students of the First Academy arrived at the abandoned mall. Unfortunately for them, the monster was already dead. When the students looked around, they noticed that the blood in the heart of the monster has already been taken. Xiaobei's bodyguard revealed to Xiaobei that all that is valuable in the monster's body has been taken and only the corpse is left. With a look of anger in his face, Xiaobei says that he will destroy the person who stole his 1,000 points from him. The scene shifts and we see Yution at the top of the abandoned mall. He was waiting for the students of the First Academy to leave the mall when the students of the academy came out of the mall. Xiaobei's bodyguard asked him about what he is going to do about the person who stole his points. Xiaobei asked his bodyguard to thoroughly search every single person he sees. He said that he will definitely find the person who did this to him. After hearing what Xiaobei said, Yution decided that he has to stay hidden for a while. After the students of the First Academy left, Yution activated his speed talent and ran away from the mall. While running, Yution realized that the students of the First Academy will eventually find out that he was the one who killed the monster because everyone will know his name when he submits the monster parts to the exam committee. He decided to focus on cultivating and improving his strength. After running for a while, he found a spot that was secluded from the hunting area. He decided to cultivate there. After settling down, Yution brought out the blood of the monster. He wondered how powerful he would become after drinking the monster's blood. When he drank the blood of the monster, he could not believe how disgusting it tasted. He forced himself to finish the blood because he wanted to become strong enough to protect his sister. The scene shifts, and we see Yu in class wondering how her brother is. The scene shifts back to Yution, and we see him cultivating. Yution was surprised by how the monster's blood increased his cultivation speed by 4 times. After seeing how fast he was cultivating, Yution understood why Chen Dong and the other students were improving at a fast rate. He realized that one needs to have other resources apart from talent when cultivating. Thanks to the fact that he had acquired a lot of resources, he decided to cultivate to the best of his abilities with the 2.5 days he had left. 3 days later, the students gathered around to submit the parts of the beast they hunted. Some students were able to acquire 23 points while others were not able to acquire any points at all. Li Yunxing arrived at the location with a green bag that contained a lot of beast body parts. He told the teacher to calculate the points for him. The teacher told Yunxing that he has acquired 195 points. The other students were amazed when they heard this. Immediately, Yunxing submitted his beast parts. Xiaobei arrived with his bodyguard and 2 girls by his side. He said that people should not be impressed with just 195 points. He told Yunxing that he overestimated him. He told him that he cannot challenge him when he does not even have up to 200 points. Yunxing was annoyed to hear this. Xiaobei walked up to the teacher and poured the materials he acquired on her table. He asked the teacher to calculate the points for him. The teacher was very surprised to see the amount of materials Xiaobei acquired. She said that Xiaobei had 427 points. The other students were shocked to hear this. They could not believe that it was possible for someone to get 427 points. Yunxing told Xiaobei that he must have stolen the points from other people. Xiaobei did not deny this claim. He told Yunxing that he stole from those people with his abilities. When Yunxing heard this, he called Xiaobei a scum. The 2 girls next to Xiaobei congratulated him on acquiring 427 points. They told him that he will definitely be first place. Xiaobei told them that he cannot be first place because the first place will have over 1,000 points. The students were shocked when they heard this. They did not believe that it was possible for someone to acquire over 1,000 points. Yution's instructor walked up to the exam attendant and told her that all the students who are still alive are already out of the wild zone. The attendant accepted this fact. She said that anyone who has not come out of the wild zone is probably already dead. With a sinister smile on his face, Yution's instructor told the attendant that Xiaobei is the first place in this exam. Immediately he said this, the students noticed that one more student was returning from the wild zone. They informed Yution's instructor. The instructor was shocked to hear this. Unsurprisingly, the student is Yution. Immediately he arrived, Yution submitted all the materials he acquired. The exam attendant was surprised to see the eyeball of a monster. She told Yution that he has acquired 1,163 points. She congratulated him in achieving first position. The committee gave him 3 monster blood and 100,000 yuan in cash as his reward. Zhang Bao began to cheer for Yution when he saw him win first place. Yunxing was surprised to see this. He wondered how Yution was able to reach first place. Xiaobei was happy to see the thief who stole his prize from him. He ordered his bodyguard to run a background check on Yution and find out everything about him. Zhang Bao told his friends that Yution has proved that the 5th Academy is one of the best by taking first place. The other students of the academy were surprised that Yution was actually first place. They wondered how he was able to do such a thing. Zhang Bao saw his instructor's expression and asked him about why he does not look happy. He told the instructor that Yution has brought glory to their academy. The instructor called Zhang Bao an ignorant brat when he heard this. With a villainous smile on his face, he told Zhang Bao that Yution has angered and offended the powerful Mo family. He revealed to Zhang Bao that Yution will soon be dead. Zhang Bao became worried when he heard what the instructor said. He wondered about what was going to happen to Yution. After all the winners had received their awards, the top 3 participants were asked to take a picture together. Xiaobei told Yution that he has a lot of courage for him to steal his prey. Yution smiled and ignored him. Yunxing told Xiaobei to not forget what he told him earlier. Xiaobei asked Yunxing to tell him what he said earlier. Yunxing reminded Xiaobei that Yution is just like him, and he stole the points with his own skill. Xiaobei laughed when he heard this. He asked Yunxing for who he thinks is stronger between him and Yution. Yution walked up to Xiaobei and told him that they have to fight to decide who is stronger between them. Xiaobei was surprised to see someone challenge him. He found it interesting. Yution stood up to Xiaobei because he knew that once people like Xiaobei target others, they will never let the person go. He decided that he has to become much stronger so Xiaobei will not dream of challenging him. After the practical exam was over, the students were sent home. When Yution arrived at his house, Yiyu ran into his arms. She told him that she missed him. She asked him why the school trip took so long. She checked his entire body to see if he sustained any injury. Yution told her that he is fine. With a smile on his face, he told her that he brought some gifts for her. Yution showed her the money and the prizes he received. Yiyu was very excited to see the money. She told Yution that he finally has enough money for him to get married. Yution told her to stop saying nonsense. He told her that the money is for her tuition and their daily expenses. Yiyu was very happy to hear this. She believed that they can now eat meat every day. She picked up the bottle that contained the mysterious liquid and asked Yution for its contents. Yution told her that he does not know what it is. He told her that he bought a book called the Illustrated Book of Treasures to find out what it is. Yiyu was curious about the information contained in the book. She moved near her brother to read it. After scanning the book, Yution finally found the name of the stone. The stone that produced the mysterious liquid is called the Terracore Elixir. The liquid from the Terracore Elixir can improve the cultivation talent of an individual upon consumption. The liquid can only improve the cultivation talent of those with mid-tier cultivation talent and below, while the stone can be used to increase high cultivation talents and above. Yution realized that the giant snake was able to regain some of its strength thanks to the elixir. He could not believe that he found such an amazing item. Yiyu gave her brother the elixir after understanding its value. She told him that the elixir will be more useful to him. Yution told his sister that the elixir is not useful to him because he already has a mid-tier cultivation talent. With a smile on his face, he told his sister that she will be the one to drink the elixir. Yiyu was shocked to hear this. Yiyu could not believe that her brother wanted to give her the elixir. She reminded her brother that she has not awakened her talent. She told her brother that the elixir would be wasted on her. While Yiyu was staring at the elixir, Yution looked at her status window. According to Yiyu's status window, You had a low cultivation talent and a frost talent that was of a novice tier. Yu's frost talent was unawakened. Yi Tian was certain that the Terra Core elixir would improve his sister's cultivation talent if she drinks it. Unfortunately, Yi Tian did not know how much of an improvement his sister would have. While Yi Tian was thinking, Yu advised her brother to sell the elixir. She told her brother that they will receive a lot of money if they sell it because the elixir is an amazing item. Yi Tian told his sister that the Terra Core elixir is produced from the Terra Mordile stone. He told his sister that he has destroyed the stone. Yi Tian revealed to his sister that the buyer will also ask for the Terra Mordile stone. He told his sister that the buyer will not believe him if he says that he has destroyed the stone. Yi Tian told his sister that selling the stone can cause unwanted problems for them. With a smile on his face, Yi Tian told his sister that the buyers will try to kill him in order to get the stone. Yi was sad to hear this. She told her brother that he messed up by destroying the stone. Yi Tian took the elixir from his sister and told her that it will be a waste if she does not drink it. Yi Tian grabbed his sister's mouth and began to pour the elixir down her throat. Yu told her brother that he is squeezing her mouth too hard. After feeding his sister the elixir, Yi Tian asked her to tell him how she is feeling. She told her brother that she is feeling warm and comfortable. Yi Tian was surprised to hear this. When he looked at his sister's status window, her cultivation talent was still the same. Yi Tian was surprised to see this. He wondered if the book described the wrong thing to him. Yu moved up to the chair. She told her brother that she is feeling quite sleepy. She told Yi Tian that she will make dinner after taking a nap. Yi Tian told his sister to enjoy her nap. Yi Tian did not understand what was going on. He decided to check on his sister later. He believed that the elixir had not yet taken its effects. 1 hour later, we see Yi Tian cultivating in the house. While Yi Tian was cultivating, he feels a powerful talent aura in his house. When Yi Tian turned around, he looked at his sister's status window. Yi Tian was surprised to see that Yu's cultivation talent has increased into a mid-tier cultivation talent. He could not believe that his sister's talent increased by 2 tiers. Due to the fact that his sister now had a mid-tier cultivation talent and a frost talent, Yi Tian was certain that his sister will become a powerful martial warrior in the future. Yi Tian covered his sister's body with a cloth. He picked up the blood of the monster and said that he will destroy Xiaobei. Yi Tian went into his room and drank his monster blood. Yi Tian was annoyed to see how horrible the blood tasted. He quickly ate some peanuts to wash down the horrible taste. Yi Tian was excited to see how strong he would become after he cultivates. He quickly sat in a lotus position and began to cultivate. Immediately, Yi Tian began to cultivate. He noticed that his cultivation speed has increased by 8-fold. Yi Tian was shocked to see this. He could not believe that a mid-rank monster would have such an effect on his body. Yi Tian was certain that he could become a martial warrior in a month if he had enough blood. Unfortunately for Yi Tian, he only had 2 bottles of blood left. 10 days later, we see Yi Tian cultivating at the academy. While Yi Tian was cultivating, Zhang Bao runs to meet him. Yi Tian did not understand why Zhang Bao was in such a hurry. He asked Zhang Bao to tell him what happened. While doing his best to catch his breath, Zhang Bao mentioned Xiaobei's name. Yi Tian stood up when he heard Xiaobei's name. He assumed that Xiaobei was at the academy. Zhang Bao told Yi Tian that Xiaobei has gone into seclusion in order to break through to the martial warrior realm. Zhang Bao told Yi Tian that Xiaobei will come for revenge once he has entered the martial warrior realm. After hearing what Zhang Bao said, Yi Tian sat down. Zhang Bao was annoyed to see this. He could not believe that Yi Tian was not panicking. Yi Tian was no longer bothered because Xiaobei was not at the academy. Yi Tian remembered that Xiaobei had a mid-tier talent just like him. Yi Tian realized that Xiaobei could actually become a martial warrior in a month. Zhang Bao revealed to Yi Tian that Xiaobei will easily kill him if he becomes a martial warrior. Yi Tian asked Zhang Bao to not worry. He told Zhang Bao that he is also training. Zhang Bao did not understand what was coming out of his friend's mouth. He reminded his friend that Xiaobei is from a powerful family. He told Yi Tian that Xiaobei has access to a large amount of resources. Zhang Bao told Yi Tian that he does not have anything other than his 3 monster blood. Yi Tian told Zhang Bao that he has already used the monster blood. Zhang Bao was shocked to hear this. He realized that his friend was going to die. He told Yi Tian that he will take care of his sister once he is gone. The only resources which Yi Tian had left were the viper's blood and the blood from its heart. Yi Tian was certain that he could reach the advanced martial apprentice rank with the blood. This rank is only 1 rank away from the martial warrior realm. Unfortunately for Yi Tian, he could not enter the martial warrior realm with his current resources. Fortunately for Yi Tian, his speed talent and his sword talent will give him enough strength to fight a full-fledged martial warrior. The scene shifts and we are taken to the Mo family estate. At the estate we see a man guarding a vault. While the man was standing in front of the vault began to crack. When the vault finally breaks, we see someone step out of it. This person turns out to be Xiaobei. Xiaobei's guard comes to greet him. He congratulated Xiaobei on becoming a martial warrior. With a unique aura surrounding his body, Xiaobei glared at his bodyguard. After stepping out of the vault, Xiaobei went to his room. Inside his room, two maids come to clothe him. While Xiaobei was getting dressed, his father and a guard step into his room. Xiaobei was surprised to see his father. Xiaobei's father was happy to see that his son had entered the martial warrior realm. Xiaobei's father's name is Mon. He is an elite martial warrior who is in the mid-stage. He is one of the 10 elders of the Presbyterian Church. And grabbed his son by his shoulder. He congratulated him on his success. Xiaobei smiled when he saw the look on his father's face. He told his father that he will never bring shame to their family, and told Xiaobei that the great ancestor wants to reward him for his success. Xiaobei knelt down when he heard this. He thanked his father for his teachings and support. He told his father that he is blessed to have him as a parent, and laughed when he heard this. He asked his son to stand up, and asked his guard to go to the kitchen and check the food and drinks. Before his guard could move, and told him that he will go by himself, and told his son that he has prepared his favorite dishes for him. He asked Xiaobei to eat when he is free. Xiaobei thanked his father for his kindness, after talking to his son, and left his room. When his father left the room, Xiaobei asked his guard if he has done what he asked. With a villainous smile on his face, Xiaobei's bodyguard told Xiaobei that Yi Tian is a kid who does not have any parents or backings. He told Xiaobei that they can deal with Yi Tian anyhow they want. Xiaobei was surprised to hear that Yi Tian is a loser who does not have a background. He assumed that Yi Tian would have formidable backings. Xiaobei told his bodyguard to send someone to kill Yi Tian. Xiaobei's bodyguard was shocked to hear what his young master said. He reminded Xiaobei that the base is completely different from the wild zones. He told Xiaobei that their family cannot afford to kill someone carelessly due to the aftermath of such an action. Xiaobei sat on a chair. While he was on the chair, a maid poured him a drink. Xiaobei told his bodyguard that they do not need to kill Yi Tian with the family's name. With a smile on his face, Xiaobei asked his bodyguard to hire a shadow assassin. He told his bodyguard that no one will be able to trace the attack to them. Xiaobei's bodyguard was shocked to hear what his young master said. He told Xiaobei that it will cost them 1,000,000 yuan to hire a shadow assassin. He asked Xiaobei if Yi Tian is worth such a large amount of money. Xiaobei was disappointed in his bodyguard when he heard this. He realized that his bodyguard still had the mentality of a peasant. Xiaobei told his bodyguard that there are a few powerful families in Linhai base and the other citizens are like subjects of enslavement. He asked his bodyguard if he knows the reason why there are no other powerful people in the base. With a villainous smile on his face, Xiaobei told his bodyguard that powerful families always kill any prodigy that appears among the peasants. Immediately Xiaobei said this. He broke his glass cup. Xiaobei's bodyguard was shocked to hear this. He realized that the 5th Academy was created to kill any peasant that tries to become strong. With a creepy smile on his face, Xiaobei told his bodyguard that it is simply how the world works. He told his bodyguard that the strong must prey on the weak. The scene shifts and we see Yi Tian practicing his sword arts at the academy. Yi Tian used his sword to crush a boulder. After practicing for a while, Yi Tian decided to stop training. He realized that it was about to rain. He decided to head home. As Yi Tian was walking through the streets, he noticed a status window on a pole. Yi Tian did not understand what was going on. He was certain that there was no one there. When Yi Tian looked at the status window, he saw that the person's name is Li Siyuan. Li Siyuan has a low-tier cultivation talent and a novice-tier shadow talent. While Yi Tian was looking at the status window, something rushed towards him. As the thing got closer to Yi Tian felt its presence. Yi Tian quickly brought out his sword and used it to block a man's attack. Yi Tian quickly moved back to place a gap between himself and the man. He asked the man for his identity. With a smile on his face, the man told Yi Tian that he is the one who will kill him. Yi Tian was surprised to see the assassin. He quickly realized that Xiaobei was the one who sent the assassin. Yi Tian did not understand why Xiaobei would send an assassin when he is already a martial warrior. Yi Tian could not comprehend why Xiaobei would use such an underhand method. While Yi Tian was thinking, Li Siyuan appeared at his back. Li Siyuan tried to attack Yi Tian with his sword. Yi Tian quickly sensed Li Siyuan's presence. He used his sword to block the attack. Immediately, Yi Tian blocked his attack. Li Siyuan disappeared in the air. Yi Tian was surprised to see this. He realized that the shadow talent allows its user to be invisible. While Yi Tian was looking up, Li Siyuan appeared at his back. He tried to use his sword to cut Yi Tian's neck. Fortunately for Yi Tian, he was fast enough to react. He dodged Li Siyuan's attack by jumping on a building. Li Siyuan was annoyed to see this. He did not understand why a martial apprentice was so fast. Yi Tian decided to attack Li Siyuan. He jumped from the building and rushed to attack Li Siyuan. When Yi Tian got close to Li Siyuan, he swung his sword. Immediately, Yi Tian swung his sword. Li Siyuan used his shadow talent to turn invisible. Yi Tian's attack hit a building instead of Li Siyuan. Li Siyuan's talent would be dangerous against an ordinary person. Unfortunately for him, Yi Tian was not an ordinary person. Yi Tian saw Li Siyuan's status window in the air. Yi Tian sent a slash in the air after finding Li Siyuan's location. This attack hit Li Siyuan in his chest. Li Siyuan spat out some blood and fell to the ground. Li Siyuan did not understand what was going on. He was certain that even an elite martial warrior cannot see through his talent. He asked Yi Tian to tell him how he found him. Yi Tian walked up to Li Siyuan. He told Li Siyuan to tell him the person who sent him. Li Siyuan picked up his sword. He told Yi Tian that he will tell him what he wants to know once he is dead. Immediately, Li Siyuan said this. He rushed to attack Yi Tian. Li Siyuan attacked Yi Tian with a technique called Shadow Blade. Yi Tian dodged the attack by jumping. When Yi Tian landed on the ground, he rushed to attack Li Siyuan. Yi Tian stabbed Li Siyuan from behind. With a terrifying look in his eyes, Yi Tian asked Li Siyuan to tell him the name of the person who hired him. Li Siyuan laughed when he heard this. He told Yi Tian that he is the strongest martial apprentice he has ever faced. He told Yi Tian that Imo Xiaobei sent him. Immediately he said this. Li Siyuan fell on the ground and died. Yi Tian was annoyed to hear Xiaobei's name. Yi Tian bent down and placed his hand on Li Siyuan's body. Immediately he did this. A status window appeared in front of him. The status window told Yi Tian that he has successfully copied the shadow talent. With a serious look on his face, Yi Tian said that he now has a shadow talent. In the next scene, we see Yi Tian burying Li Siyuan's body. After burying Li Siyuan's body, Yi Tian knelt down. Yi Tian said that a human should not feel contented with being blown around by the wind and rain. He said that a human should not be treated like a fallen leaf. As the heavy rain poured, Yi Tian grabbed a leaf. He promised himself that he would live like a man in this world. He assured himself that he would become the rain and the wind, but he would never become a fallen leaf. The scene shifts and we see Yi Tian taking a hot shower at home. After taking a shower, Yi Tian put on some clothes and sat on his couch. After sitting down, Yi Tian looked at everything he acquired from Li Siyuan. Yi Tian was certain that Li Siyuan blades were primordial weapons. Yi Tian decided to keep the weapons because his sword was already ruined in the fight. Yi Tian found some cards on Li Siyuan's body. The gold card are worth 1,000,000 yuan and the silver cards are worth 100,000 yuan. After counting the cards, Yi Tian realized that he had obtained 3.5 million yuan. Yi Tian realized that this was the money Xiaobei paid for his life. He decided to enjoy the money without any guilt. Yi Tian found a book among Li Siyuan's belongings. When he opened the book, Yi Tian realized that the book is a skill book that contains a skill called Shadow Blade. This is a bronze rank blade skill. Skills in this world have different rankings. The lowest is iron rank, the next is bronze rank, then silver rank and gold rank is the highest rank. Yi Tian was excited to find a blade skill because it was what he lacked. Blade skill allows one to unleash their blade talent fully. Yi Tian ran inside his room. He wanted to start learning the skill. When Yi Tian sat on his bed, he heard lightning strike. Immediately this happened. Yi Tian realized that something was odd. He realized that his sister has not yet returned from school. Yi Tian was certain that Xiaobei knew everything about him for him to send an assassin. He realized that his sister was in danger of being assassinated. Yi Tian opened his window and jumped outside. When he got outside, Yi Tian began to run and jump over some buildings. As Yi Tian ran at his full speed, he prayed that his sister would be all right. After running for a while, Yi Tian lands in an alley next to Yi's school. Yi Tian stepped out of the alley and began to look around. Yi Tian knew that Yi went to an ordinary school. He believed that people with talent would not come to the school to kill a student. Although Yi Tian knew this, he was not certain if Xiaobei would care about such a thing. While Yi Tian was thinking, someone points an umbrella at his back and tells him not to move. Tian used his speed to move behind the person. He asked the person to not move. Yu took off her raincoat and told her brother that she is just joking with him. Tian was surprised to see his sister. He asked her to tell him the reason why she is late today. Yu told her brother that she is in charge of upkeep duty today. She told Tian that she was cleaning up the classrooms. Yu noticed that her brother was dressed odd. She asked her brother to tell her why he came outside without an umbrella or any shoes. Tian told his sister that he forgot the umbrella and his shoes because he was rushing. As the siblings headed home, Yu asked her brother to tell her how he appeared behind her. As Tian and his sister walked forward, we see someone watching them from a car. This person turned out to be Xiaobei. Xiaobei was annoyed to see that Tian was still alive. Tian and his sister stopped for a sausage on their way home. After getting their sausage, the siblings continued walking. Yu asked her brother to tell her what he wants to eat. Tian asked Yu to make her signature boiled meat slices. While walking home, Tian noticed that a car was moving behind them. He realized that he and his sister were being followed. At home, we see Tian looking down from his balcony. Yu told her brother that dinner is ready. She asked him to assist her in setting up the table. While Tian was on the balcony, he noticed that the car was packed next to his house. Tian became more suspicious. He decided to stop worrying and assist his sister. In the next scene, we see Yu in class. Yu stood up to solve a question given to her by her teacher. Opposite Yu's school, we see a man standing on top of a building. This man turns out to be Tian. Tian looks down from the building he was on. He noticed that the car was still in the area. Tian was annoyed to see this. He could not believe that someone was following his sister around for 3 days. He could not believe that someone wanted to harm his sister. He believed that Xiaobei had crossed the line. While Tian was looking around, he noticed that the car was driving away from the area. Tian was shocked to see this. He jumped down from the building and began to run after the car. After driving a long distance, the car arrived at an uncompleted building. Tian stood on a long pole when he arrived in the area. He saw a man get out of the car and head into the building. Tian realized that this was the place Xiaobei was in. Tian was eager to see Xiaobei. He activated his shadow talent and headed into the building. Inside the building, we see a man getting beat up by 2 guys. While on the floor, the man begged Xiaobei for forgiveness. He told Xiaobei that he does not have any money. The man assured Xiaobei that he would pay him the money once he has enough. He begged Xiaobei to let him go. Inside the building, we see Xiaobei sitting on some iron rods. Xiaobei told the man that his money will be doubled if he pays tomorrow. He told the man that money is not easy to get. The man got on his knees and begged Xiaobei. He told Xiaobei that his interest rate are too high. The man tried to appeal to Xiaobei. He told Xiaobei that he has elderly parents and young children to take care of. He begged Xiaobei to let him go. While the man was begging Xiaobei, his bodyguard entered the building. Xiaobei asked his bodyguard if he has gotten any news from Li Siyuan. While Xiaobei was questioning his bodyguard, we see that Tian has entered the building. Tian hid in a dark part of the building. Xiaobei's bodyguard told Xiaobei that he has not heard from the shadow assassin. He told Xiaobei that he will try to contact Li Siyuan through someone else. Upon hearing what Xiaobei's bodyguard said, Tian became certain that Xiaobei was the one who sent Li Siyuan to him. Xiaobei walked up to the man who was begging him. He told his bodyguard that people always try to scam descendants of rich families like himself. Immediately he said this, Xiaobei began to hit the man with his leg. Xiaobei's bodyguard was terrified to see what his young master was doing. He told Xiaobei that he will never try to scam him. He told him that he has always served him faithfully. After Xiaobei crushed the man, one of the men in the building checked the man's condition. The man told Xiaobei that his debtor is dead. Xiaobei asked the men to get rid of the man's body. He asked his bodyguard if he knows how to take care of Tian's sister. Xiaobei's bodyguard told Xiaobei that he will take care of Yu by himself. He assured Xiaobei that nothing will go wrong. He told Xiaobei that he does not need to worry. Xiaobei smiled when he heard this. He gathered his energy in his hand and attacked his bodyguard. The bodyguard spat out some blood and fell to the ground. He asked his young master to tell him why he hurt him. With a smile on his face, Xiaobei told his bodyguard that he is suffering the consequences of failing the first job. While Xiaobei was talking to his bodyguard, Tian brings out his weapon and jumps down from his hiding spot. Xiaobei quickly sensed the presence of someone above him. Unfortunately for him, Tian killed him before he could do anything. Tian smiled as he cut Xiaobei's body. The men in the room were shocked to see what happened. They could not believe that their young master was dead. Xiaobei's bodyguard was shocked to see that his young master was killed by someone using a shadow talent. He believed that only one person would have such a talent to kill Xiaobei. He assumed that the killer was Li Siyuan. To his surprise, Yi Tian was the one who came out of the shadows. Yi Tian smiled as he looked the bodyguard in the eye. Xiaobei's bodyguard did not understand what was going on. He could not believe that Yi Tian had a shadow talent. The two men ran away when they saw Yi Tian. The bodyguard told Yi Tian that he has already done his research on him. Xiaobei's bodyguard remembered finding out that Yi Tian had a weak tier talent. He asked Yi Tian to tell him how he was able to kill a martial warrior like Xiaobei. He asked Yi Tian to tell him what happened to Li Siyuan. Yi Tian let out a huge sigh. Immediately he did this, he rushed to attack the bodyguard. As Yi Tian moved closer to him, the bodyguard told Yi Tian that he cannot kill him. Unfortunately for him, this wasn't true. Yi Tian used his weapons to cut the bodyguard down. After killing the bodyguard, Yi Tian brought out a handkerchief from his pocket. He used the handkerchief to clean his blades. After doing this, Yi Tian threw the handkerchief on the floor. The word shadow was written on the handkerchief. Yi Tian put his weapons away and put his hoodie on. He looked at Xiaobei's dead body and told Xiaobei that he messed with the wrong person. After saying this, Yi Tian left the building. An hour later, we see some cars packed outside the building. Inside the building, we see In staring at his son's corpse and could not believe what he was looking at. He asked his men to tell him who killed his son. One of his men picked up Yi Tian's handkerchief and handed it over to In. He told In that Xiaobei was probably killed by a shadow assassin. In was annoyed to hear this. He could not believe that someone sent a shadow assassin to kill his son. He could not believe that someone could do something so inhumane. While In was mourning his son, a man stepped into the building. The men inside the building referred to the man as Old Imo. This old man is Imo Zhongqing. He is the great elder of the wealthy Imo family of the Linhai base. He is also the only great martial warrior in the Imo family. The warrior ranking in this world are martial apprentice, martial warrior, elite warrior, great warrior, and finally grandmaster. In was shocked to see Zhongqing. He knelt down in front of him. He told Zhongqing that the prodigy of the Imo family is dead. Zhongqing asked In to stand up and talk to him. In told Zhongqing that Xiaobei just became a martial warrior and he just finished his celebration banquet. He told Zhongqing that Xiaobei had the potential to become a great warrior. He told him that Xiaobei was going to revitalize their family. While crying, In told Zhongqing that his son met a miserable end. Zhongqing acknowledged the fact that Xiaobei was a genius. He knew that Xiaobei was the Imo family's hope. He told In that their family's position would have become stronger if they were able to produce another great martial warrior. In told Zhongqing that his son must not die in vain. He presented the handkerchief to Zhongqing and asked him to avenge his son. Zhongqing took the handkerchief. When he saw the logo on the handkerchief, he believed that Xiaobei was killed by a shadow assassin. While thinking, Zhongqing realizes something. Zhongqing stepped outside of the building. He was certain that the person who employed the assassin is one of the families that has a grudge with them. When Zhongqing lifted the handkerchief against the moonlight, he saw a tiny logo next to the shadow sign. Zhongqing believed that the assassin was hired by the Iron Fang. The scene shifts and we see Yi Tian talking to Zhang Bao. Zhang Bao told Yi Tian that the Iron Fang base is much stronger than the Linhai base. He told Yi Tian that Zhongqing suspects that some families in the Linhai base are secretly colluding with the Iron Fang base. Zhang Bao revealed to Yi Tian that the Iron base is trying to kill off the younger generations of elites and swallow the Linhai base. He told Yi Tian that Xiaobei was killed after breaking into the martial warrior realm. He told Yi Tian that Xiaobei's head was cut off. Yi Tian did not know how to react when he heard this. He was very happy to see that no one suspects him. Zhang Bao told Yi Tian that he is very lucky. He told Yi Tian that Xiaobei would have tried to kill him if he was not killed. After leaving Zhang Bao, Yi Tian contemplates on how his actions saved him. Yi Tian purposely left the handkerchief at the scene in order to draw the Imo family's attention on somewhere else. Yi Tian was surprised to find out that Zhongqing found the symbol of the Iron Fang base on the handkerchief. Yi Tian believed that Zhongqing wants to use the handkerchief as an excuse to stir up conflicts between the two bases. The next day, we see Yi Tian wake up at 4 a.m. After taking his bath, Yi Tian put on his clothes. He packed a bag and was about to leave his house. While Yi Tian was tying his shoelaces, Yu came to meet him. Yi Tian was surprised to see that his sister actually woke up. Yu asked her brother to tell her where he is going to so early in the morning. Yi Tian told his sister that he wants to go to the wild zone to train. He told his sister that he has to increase his strength as fast as possible. Yu was surprised to hear this. She remembered that her brother had just returned from a trip a few days ago. She realized that Yi was going alone just like last time. Yu became worried. She asked her brother if he cannot go with some friends. Yi told his sister not to worry about him. He asked her to wait for him at home. Yu ran to hug her brother when she heard this. She asked Yi to come back early. Yi told her that he will definitely come back. The scene shifts and we see Yi running in the wild zone. After running for a while, Yi stops to check out the area he was in. Yi heard that there are high-level monsters in the area. Yi knew that he could not fight any high-level monsters with his strength. He decided to only fight lower-level monsters. With a smile on his face, Yi said that he will become a martial warrior in this place. Immediately he said this, the ground began to shake. Yi assumed it was an earthquake. After looking around, Yi realized that two monsters were fighting. The monster which looked like a cow was crushing a centipede-like monster. The stronger monster is called an armored ox. It is a monster with a low-tier defense talent and a weak-tier bloodline talent. After the armored ox had defeated its opponent, it noticed Yi. The monster ran towards Yi. Yi put his bag down and rushed to attack the monster. When he got close to the monster, he brought out his primordial weapons. Yi spun in the air and attacked the ox with a crazy momentum. Unfortunately for Yi, the monster blocked the attack with its shield. Yi was surprised to see how strong the monster's defense ability was. The monster screamed and pushed Yi back with its roar. Yi got thrown into a boulder. He stood up and smiled. He was happy to see that he came upon a good talent. He told the ox that he will make the talent his. Immediately he said this. Yi rushed to attack the monster. Yi moved close to the monster and ran up its body. Yi knew that the most fragile part of every living being is their eyes. He took a position while he was in the air and rushed to attack the ox's eye. Unfortunately for Yi, the ox had a shield around its eyes. Yi was surprised to see how strong the shield was. He could not believe that he was not able to break through it. Yi began to slash the shield with all his strength. While he was hitting the barrier, one of his blade began to crack. Yi was surprised to see this. He could not believe that a low-tier defense talent could be so strong. While Yi was hitting the barrier, his blade broke. Yi was shocked to see this. He did not know what to do. While Yi was looking at his blade, the ox landed a punch on him. Yi took some damage and flew back. He hit a boulder. Yi realized that the defense talent is quite powerful. Yi wanted this overpowered talent for himself. Unfortunately, his ability could not be used until the next 16 days. Yi stood up from the rubbles and decided to think of his next move. Yi knew that the armored ox was weaker than the silver moon wolf, but it is also above the viper. Yi threw away his broken blade. He realized that he could take down the ox if he is able to pinpoint its weak spot and launch a sneak attack. With a smile on his face, Yi said that he has a chance at victory. A green aura covered his body and Yi activated his shadow talent. Immediately he did this. He ran towards the ox. He began to attack the ox all over its body. Of course, the ox shield blocked his attack. Yi was happy to see that the monster was not able to sense his presence. He realized that the shadow talent is extremely valuable. Unfortunately, Yi blade skills did not affect the barrier at all. After attacking the monster for a while, Yi realized that he could not find a gap in its defense. Yi stopped attacking and looked around the monster's body. After carefully looking around its body, Yi noticed that the monster had a light defense around its butt. Yi wondered if the butt was the monster's weakness. He decided to attack it. Yi moved close to the monster and used a skill called Shadow Kill to destroy its penis. The monster screamed in pain and fell to the ground. After seeing that he successfully took down the monster, Yi smiled. He was happy to see that his guess was correct. After killing the monster, Yi used his blade to pierce the monster's body and began to drain its blood. While looking at the monster's corpses, Yi realized that no talent will matter once one is dead. After taking a substantial amount of blood, Yi decided to cut the monster's skin and testicles. Yi was willing to cut off any part of the ox that is valuable. Yi first cut off the ox's horns because they were the most valuable parts of the monster. After dissecting the monster, Yi filled his bag with the byproducts. He decided to find a place to cultivate with his current materials. After traveling for a while, Yi arrived at a cave. He settled in the cave and brought out his materials. He brought some monster blood and peanuts made by his sister. With a smile on his face, Yetion said that he will be able to enter the martial warrior realm with his current materials. Yetion drank some blood and immediately ate some peanuts to wash down the horrible taste of the blood. After drinking the blood, Yetion sat in a lotus position and began to cultivate. 20 days later, we see that Yetion has drank a lot of monster blood. Yetion let out a huge sigh and opened his eyes. The moment he opened his eyes, it began to glow. As a large amount of energy gathered around his body, Yetion began to scream. The energy which gathered above the cave was quite large and bright. Two girls passing the area saw the bright light. A blonde girl who appears to be a servant tells her young miss that someone is trying to enter the martial warrior realm. The young miss smiles when she saw the light. We see that the two girls are wearing a hoodie that has a logo of the martial pavilion on it. After experiencing pain for some time, Yetion entered the martial warrior realm. Yetion was quite impressed to see his new power. After becoming a martial warrior, Yetion looked around him and saw the empty bottles that used to contain the ox's blood. He realized that he could now use his copy talent. He picked up his bag and began to run. Yetion wanted to copy the ox's defense talent. When he arrived at the place which he defeated the ox, he saw the monster's bones. Yetion placed his hands on the bones and tried to copy the monster's talent. Unfortunately for Yetion, a status window appeared in front of him and told him that he could not copy the talent of his target. Yetion was surprised to see this. He realized that his ability does not work on things that have become bones. Yetion was sad to see this. He regretted cutting the monster's body into so many pieces. While Yetion was staring at the monster, the two girls looked at him from afar. The blonde girl asked her young lady if Yetion was the one who killed the ox. The young lady told her assistant that Yetion just became a martial warrior. She told her assistant that the monster was killed before Yetion became a martial warrior. The assistant believed that what her young lady said was right. She assumed that Yetion could not kill the monster because he was a martial apprentice when the monster was still alive. The assistant told her young lady that Yetion is quite bold to enter such a dangerous area while he was still a martial apprentice. Yetion walked up to an oasis which was in the area. He took off his clothes and prepared to take a bath. It had been 20 days since Yetion last took a bath. He was happy to take a bath. The two girls were shocked to see Yetion in his underwear. They decided to leave the area. After the girls left, Yetion jumped into the water. The scene shifts and we are taken to the martial market of the Linhai base. At the market, we see several people trading with each other. Among the countless stores in the market, one store stood out as the largest. Yetion decided to go into this store. This store is the martial pavilion. As Yetion headed into the martial pavilion, he passed by the young lady and her assistant. The assistant quickly recognized Yetion. When Yetion passed by their side, he noticed something odd. Yetion turned around and saw a lady that had a striking resemblance to his sister. Yetion could not believe what he was seeing. He called the young lady his sister. The young lady was surprised to hear this. She could not believe that Yetion called her his sister. Yetion quickly regained his composure. He was certain that you could never come to the martial market. Yetion decided to look at the girl's status window. Yetion was surprised to see what was on the status window. He became more certain that this girl was not his sister because the girl was a genius. According to the status window, the girl's name is Yuling. Her cultivation talent is high tier. Her sword talent is mid tier and her speed talent is low tier. Yuling's assistant was annoyed to hear Yetion call her master his sister. She told Yetion that he is quite courageous for a scrounger. Yetion was shocked to hear this. He tried to smell his body to see if he had an odor. Yetion did not understand why the girl would refer to him as a scrounger. Yuling asked her assistant, whose name is Xiaoyu, to not speak carelessly. Xiaoyu realized that she almost slipped up to Yetion. She realized that Yetion might find out that they saw him earlier. Yuling gave Xiaoyu some instructions and asked her to follow them. Immediately Yuling gave her the instructions. Xiaoyu walked up to Yetion and bowed her head. She apologized to Yetion. She told Yetion that her master has disciplined her for her rude behavior. Yetion was surprised to hear that Yuling is a young lady. Yuling left Yetion and Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu grabbed Yetion's hand and told him that Yuling has some things to attend to. Xiaoyu realized that Yetion wanted to sell his materials to the martial pavilion. She told Yetion that her young lady is the manager of the martial pavilion. She told Yetion that she will pay him double the price of his products in order to express their sincerity. Yetion was shocked to hear this. Two girls came out of the store and took Yetion's materials. When Yetion stepped into the store, he was surprised to see how big it was. Yetion was surprised to see what was inside the store. When Yetion sat down, A woman comes to serve him tea. She called Yi an esteemed martial warrior and asked him to enjoy his tea. Xiao Yu calculated the price of the materials which Yi brought and told him that everything he has is worth 20,000 yuan. She told Yi that she will pay him 40,000 yuan. Yi spat out his tea when he heard the amount. Yi accepted the deal. He could not believe that he made so much money so easily. Xiao Yu gave Yi 4 white cards. Each of the card was worth 10,000 yuan. Yi realized that his sister would be very happy if she saw the money he earned. Xiao Yu brought out a book and told Yi that he is allowed to purchase anything he wants at 50% off. She told Yi that he was given this privilege by their young lady. Yi smiled when he heard this. He told Xiao Yu that he will enjoy the privilege. When Yi looked at the price of the products in a book, he was extremely shocked. Everything in the store was quite expensive. Yi finally understood why the major families have a monopoly on cultivation materials. Yi knew that an ordinary civilian would not be able to afford such materials. After looking through the price list, Yi asked Xiao Yu to give him 1 profound training manual, 1 monster directory, 3 bottles of mid-tier monster blood, and 3 bottles of restorative elixirs. After Yi told her what he wanted, Xiao Yu went to a shelf and prepared what Yi asked. After packing what Yi ordered, Xiao Yu told Yi that he will pay her 70,000 yuan. Yi took out his gold card and used it to pay for his goods. Yi was convinced that he made a smart choice by stealing from Li Siyuan. After Yi paid for his goods, he picked up his box. Yi was certain that the Martial Pavilion was not giving him so many benefits just because Xiao Yu called him a scrounger. Yi was certain that the Martial Pavilion had another reason for their actions. He could not understand why the Martial Pavilion was treating him nicely. Yi knew that he was a simple poor guy, so he did not understand what the Martial Pavilion wanted from him. While walking out of the store, Yi was surprised to see that no one was stopping him. Yi decided to leave. When Yi got to the door, Xiao Yu asked him to wait. Yi was not surprised to hear this. He already knew that things were not so simple. Yi turned around and glared at Xiao Yu. He asked Xiao Yu to tell him why she stopped him. Xiao Yu pointed at the stairs and told Yi that the manager of the pavilion wants to meet him. Yi smiled when he heard this. He asked Xiao Yu to show him where he needs to go. When Yi arrived at the manager's office, he saw her drinking tea. Yu Ling welcomed Yi to her office. Yi was still quite surprised to see Yu Ling. He could not believe that Yu Ling looked so much like Yi Yu. Yu Ling walked up to Yi and introduced herself. Yu Ling is a peak elite martial warrior who is from the Mahai base. She is the current manager of the Martial Pavilion branch in the Linhai base. Yu Ling stretched her hand out and tried to shake Yi. When Yi shakes Yu Ling's hand, a small amount of energy was released from both their hands. When Yi shook Yu Ling's hand, the system told Yi that he has successfully copied a high-tier cultivation talent. Yi also introduced himself to Yu Ling. Yu Ling asked Yi to take a seat. She told him that only valued guests get to come to the second floor of the pavilion. Yi was not impressed with what Yu Ling said. He told her that he is a commoner who does not have any relations to the major families. He asked Yu Ling to tell him why he is a valued customer. Yu Ling told Yi that his value lies in the fact that he is a commoner and he is unrelated to the major families. Yi was surprised to hear this. He was surprised to see how calm Yu Ling was. Yi remembered how cheerful and happy his sister always acts. Xiao Yu served Yi some tea. Yu Ling told Yi that her reason for inviting him was to extend an invitation. Immediately Yu Ling said this. She brought out a cross which had the sign of the Martial Pavilion on it. She asked Yi to join the Martial Pavilion. Yi was shocked to hear this. When Yu Ling gave Yi the offer, Yi saw his sister asking him to join the Martial Pavilion. Yi could not get over Yu Ling's face. He realized that he had never said no to his sister before. Yi told Yu Ling that he does not understand her. Yi knew that Mahai base was an extensive base. In other words, the base has boundless powers. Yi told Yu Ling that Mahai base does not lack any talents. He told Yu Ling that he is simply a novice martial warrior. Yi could not understand why Yu Ling would try her best to recruit a novice martial warrior. Yu Ling stood up and told Yi that extensive base comes into existence because they always need more talents. Yi was shocked to hear what Yu Ling said. He never expected such a small girl to be so smart. Yi realized that Yu Ling was looking at a bigger picture. Yi became more certain that Yu Ling was not his sister because his sister is not smart enough to say something like this. Xiao Yu told Yi to stop hesitating. She asked Yi to accept the offer. She told Yi that elite disciples from powerful families can't join their company because they do not reach Yu Ling's standards. Yi knew that he had a good opportunity before him. But he also knew that joining any organization would limit his actions. He believed that he would die in horrible death if people ever found out about his special ability. Yi Tian decided to stay independent until he could sort out any issue related to his special ability. Yuling moved close to Yi Tian. She was surprised to see that Yi Tian was actually hesitating. She became more curious about Yi Tian. She asked him to tell her why he is hesitating. Yi Tian felt odd saying no to someone who looks exactly like his sister. Yuling begged Yi Tian to tell her his reason. Yi Tian decided to use the rumors about the Iron Fang base as example. He told Yuling that the rumors about the Iron Fang's invasion caused a lot of unrest among the powerful families. He told Yuling that he was able to regain his peaceful life thanks to the rumors. Yi Tian revealed to Yuling that he does not want to become someone like the powerful families, and he does not want to serve such families. Yuling was shocked to hear this. She asked Yi Tian if she looked similar to the powerful families. Yi Tian told her that she does. Yuling decided to change her strategy. She told Yi Tian that he can observe her organization for a while. She told Yi Tian that he does not need to respond to her immediately. She told him that she has enough patience. Yi Tian was surprised to hear this. He could not comprehend why Yuling was so adamant about recruiting him. After Yi Tian left the store, he decided to leave the market. On his way out, Yi Tian contemplates about what it means to be a martial warrior. While looking at his hand, Yi Tian asked himself about what talent means to him. Yi Tian wondered if the current martial warriors still remember the founding mission of martial warriors. Yi Tian believed that martial warriors exist to protect the people. While walking, Yi Tian sees some kids playing football. The kids hit their ball towards the gatekeepers in the area. The kids asked the gatekeepers to pass their ball. A man used his leg to crush the kid's ball. Yi Tian did not understand why people had to tolerate oppression from martial warriors even though they already had to live in fear of monsters. The kids cried when they saw what happened to their ball. The two gatekeepers smiled when they saw the look on the kid's face. On his way home, we see Yi Tian standing on top of a building. While looking at the heavy rain, Yi Tian said that his standing is not high enough. Yi Tian believed that he must become stronger and reach higher levels. Yi Tian's system appeared before him and asked him if he wants to fuse his high-tier cultivation talent. Yi Tian decided to fuse the talent. The scene shifts and we see Yi Tian step into his house. Yi was shocked to see her brother. She quickly ran into his arms. After letting go of her brother, Yi noticed that Yi Tian had become tougher. Yi Tian took off his hoodie and told his sister that he has become a martial warrior. Yi was shocked to hear this. She was very happy to hear that the Yi family finally had a martial warrior among them. Yi was very happy to hear this. Yi Tian believed that his sister was dramatic. He knew that Yi could also become a powerful martial warrior once she awakens. Yi Tian planned to continue increasing his sister's talent with more compatible items. After calming down, Yi brought out a scissors and told her brother that she wants to give him a haircut. Yi Tian was surprised to hear this. Yi told her brother that he looks like a beggar. Yi told Yi Tian that he needs to take care of himself now that he is a martial warrior. Yi sat her brother down and put a cloth around him. Yi Tian told his sister to give him his usual haircut. Yi smiled when she heard this. She told her brother that she only knows how to cut one style. As his sister cut his hair, Yi Tian realized that he had become older. Yi had been cutting Yi Tian's hair ever since their parents died. Yi Tian recalled how he and his sister were when they were younger. Yi told her brother that she is scared. She asked her brother to go to the hospital. Yi accidentally injured her brother at the back of his head. Yi Tian told his sister that he cannot go to a hospital because hospitals cost a lot of money. Yi Tian, who appears to have been beaten up, told his sister that he will be fine. He asked his sister to help him cut his hair short and dress his wound. Yi was sad to see her brother in such a terrible state. She told her brother that he would have been fine if he had the ability of the immortal jellyfish. Yi Tian was surprised to hear this. He asked his sister to tell him the ability of the immortal jellyfish. Yi was surprised to see that her brother did not remember the immortal jellyfish. She told Yi Tian that the jellyfish is in the story that he used to read to her. Yi told her brother that the immortal jellyfish has the ability to heal. She told Yi Tian that the immortal jellyfish can heal any of its wounds instantly. Yi Tian was surprised to hear that his sister still believed in such things. He told his sister that he does not believe in things like that. Yi was annoyed to hear this. She told her brother that the immortal jellyfish actually exist. Yi Tian pat his sister's head and told her that he understands. Yi Tian knew that his sister was just worried about him. He told his sister that he might awaken a healing talent and never get injured. With a smile on his face, Yi Tian told his sister that he will protect her once he awakens his talent. The scene shifts and we are taken back to the present. Etion moved his body the moment he remembered the immortal jellyfish. Yu asked her brother to be careful. She asked him to not move carelessly. She told him that he will mess up his haircut. Etion stood up and ran. Yu did not understand what was going on. She asked her brother to tell her what happened. Etion quickly took out the illustrated book of treasures which he bought. Etion began to search the book for the immortal jellyfish. After searching for a while, Etion found the immortal jellyfish. The immortal jellyfish is a water-type monster with a healing talent. It stays in the lake of death. Yu asked her brother to tell her why he was running. Etion was happy to see that the monster exists. He realized that he would not have to worry about injuries once he has copied this talent, and Yu would no longer need to worry about him. Yu was surprised to see what her brother was searching for. She told her brother that the immortal jellyfish is a made-up monster used in stories. Etion closed the book and told his sister that the story is real. Yu told her brother that she needs to finish cutting his hair. After Etion had his haircut, he began to read a book in order to see which body training style would fit a martial warrior. Novice martial warriors like Etion focus on fortifying their skin. Mid-stage martial warriors fortify their muscles, and late-stage martial warriors fortify their bones. Etion decided to start cultivating. Immediately, Etion began to cultivate. He noticed a change. Etion could not believe how fast his cultivation was going. He realized that his cultivation was slow in the past. He decided to consume a bottle of mid-tier monster blood in order to see how it would affect his cultivation. When Etion drank the blood, his absorption rate increased by threefold. Etion was quite shocked to see this. Etion realized that it would be smart for him to continue cultivating at home. He decided to go after the immortal jellyfish once his copy talent becomes available in the next 30 days. With a smile on his face, Etion said that he will get the healing talent he wants. The scene shifts and we see Etion step into the martial pavilion. Xiaoyu welcomed him into the store. She quickly recognized Etion as the junk collector from before. She waved her hand and walked up to Etion. With a smug look on her face, Xiaoyu asked Etion if he is here to see her mistress. Contrary to Xiaoyu's expectation, Etion told her that he came to buy something. Xiaoyu was surprised to hear this. Xiaoyu noticed that Etion was quite good-looking after he dressed up. She was surprised to see how clothing could change a man. Xiaoyu asked Etion to follow her. Etion asked her if she has a map of the Lake of Death. Xiaoyu told Etion that she has a map. She went to a shelf and searched for the map. She brought out the map and gave it to Etion. Etion was happy to see the map. He was certain that he will be able to find the talent he wants at the lake. Xiaoyu told Etion that the map costs 100,000 yuan. Etion paid Xiaoyu with a silver card. After paying Xiaoyu, Etion decided to leave the store. Xiaoyu wondered if Etion was going to the Lake of Death to find some junk. She remembered that her mistress told her that the Lake of Death is a horrible place full of terrifying aquatic monsters. Even elite martial warriors barely survive at the Lake of Death. Xiaoyu hoped that Etion would be safe. In the next scene, we see Etion running at a crazy speed. After running for a while, Etion landed in a deserted town. In the middle of the town, we see a lake. Etion was surprised to see how turbulent the landscape was. He was certain that he could get a great talent in this place. When Etion looked around, he realized that nobody had come to the town in years. The strange atmosphere of the town made Etion feel like something dangerous was going to pop out. While Etion was looking around the area, he saw something shocking. The water from the lake began to spin very fast. It turned into a cyclone. Etion quickly realized that the monsters were about to come out. He decided to use his shadow talent to turn invisible. After becoming invisible, Etion ran to the top of a cliff. He wanted to observe what was happening. When the water stopped spinning, Etion saw a huge bright energy ball. When the energy ball got released, we see an old man holding an umbrella and a girl carrying a box. The girl turns out to be Yuling. The old man told Yuling that they need to run. Etion was surprised to see Yuling in the lake. Before Yuling and the old man could land on the ground, a gigantic monster came out of the lake and tried to eat them. The old man realized that he and Yuling would not make it to land. Luckily, the man was able to push himself and Yuling out of harm's way. When the two got to land, the monster came out of the lake. The old man and Yuling were terrified to see the size of the monster. The old man told Yuling that the monster is a top-tier beast. Etion was shocked to see the monster. It was his first time seeing such a powerful monster. The old man realized that he and Yuling could not face the monster. He pushed Yuling away with his hand. He told her that he will stall the monster. Yuling fell on the ground. She quickly stood up. She wanted to help the old man. Before she could take another step, she felt the presence of multiple monsters behind her. Yuling immediately began to run for her life. The old man was shocked to see that there was more monsters behind them. Seeing that Yuling's life was in danger, Yi Tian decided to help her. As Yuling was getting chased by crocodile monsters, the old man screamed in fear. He asked Yuling to be careful. Before a crocodile monster was able to bite Yuling, she was able to avoid its mouth by jumping. While in the air, Yuling took a stance and used a sign. This sign was to help her activate her secret arts. The moment Yuling activated her secret arts, a tattoo of a lotus flower appeared on her head and a weapon appeared in her hand. Yuling's hair also turned pink. The moment she activated her secret art, she disappeared in front of the crocodile. The crocodile was shocked to see this. It looked around, but it did not see Yuling. Yuling attacked the monster from above. She used her sword to tear the monster apart. Yi Tian, who was running to help Yuling, was surprised to see a secret arts technique. He was just seeing it for the first time. Yi Tian was surprised to see that Yuling possessed such an amazing ability. As Yi Tian got closer to Yuling, he stopped running. Yi Tian realized that he was being stupid. He realized that there was nothing a novice martial warrior could do in such a fight. While Yi Tian was thinking, Yuling was cutting down the monsters that stood in her path. Yi Tian already knew that Yuling was strong because she is an elite martial warrior who is at the peak of the realm. Yi Tian realized that Yuling's secret art gave her the strength of a great martial warrior. He realized that he could not win Yuling in a fight even if 10 of him fought her. While Yi Tian was looking at Yuling, the old man was getting beat up by the gigantic monster. The monster bit the lower half of the man's body. The man screamed in pain. The man asked Yuling to run away from the area. The monster opened its mouth and waited for the man to fall into it. As the old man fell into the monster's mouth, he summoned all his strength and asked his mistress to run away. He reminded her that her secret arts won't last for a long time. He told Yuling that the package is more important. He told her that she needs to leave with the package. He reminded her that 10 of their brothers gave their lives in order to get the box. He asked Yuling to not waste their brother's sacrifice. Yuling became sad when she heard what her comrade said. Yi Tian was surprised to hear that 10 people had died. He became curious about the nature of the treasure. He believed that the treasure must be important for so many people to risk their lives for it. Upon hearing what her comrade said, Yuling began to run. Unfortunately for her, the time which she could use the secret art was now over. Yuling's body became weak. She lost control of her body and fell to the ground. The box fell off her hand and landed in front of Yi Tian. Yuling was surprised to see a man standing before her. She tried to look at Yi Tian's face, but her eyes were not good. Yi Tian picked up the package. He did not understand why Yuling was going through such lengths for this treasure. Yuling summoned all her strength and asked Yi Tian to not move. Yi Tian asked her to relax. He told her that he will not take the treasure away. Before Yi Tian could walk up to Yuling, he noticed that the crocodile monsters were coming towards them. Yi Tian was annoyed to see how persistent the monsters were. He carried Yuling in his arms and placed the box on her body. Yi Tian asked Yuling if she is okay with hiding in a cave. Yuling was too weak to respond to him. Yi Tian took her silence as a yes. He jumped and began to run at a crazy speed. When Yi Tian found a cave, he placed Yuling on the ground and used his coat to cover her body. Yi Tian was still quite amazed with the fact that Yuling looked exactly like his sister. The only difference between Yuling and Yi Yu was that Yuling had a beauty mark on her face. Yi Tian placed his hand on her face and tried to clean the mark. He was surprised to see that the mark did not clean off. He realized that the mark is natural. After waiting for a while, Yi Tian checked if Yuling was still sleeping. Yi Tian did not understand why Yuling was so exhausted. While he was looking at her, Yuling woke up. Yi Tian was surprised to see this. Yuling woke up with a headache. She quickly noticed that Yi Tian was standing in front of her. Yuling was surprised to see him. She asked Yi Tian if he was the one who saved her. Yi Tian told Yuling that he was passing the area, so he decided to help her. Yuling gave Yi Tian his coat. She thanked him for his help. Yuling was surprised to see that Yi Tian actually came to the Lake of Death by himself. She believed that Yi Tian is a talent which she must recruit to the martial pavilion. Yuling brought out a crystal that shined brightly. Yi Tian was shocked to see the light from the crystal. He told Yuling that the light is blinding. He asked Yuling to tell him what she is doing. Yuling laughed when she saw Yi Tian's reaction. She told Yi Tian that the crystal is called a light stone. It can store and radiate light. She told Yi Tian that the crystal is like a lamp. The light stone rose up to the ceiling and brightened the room. Yition asked Yuling to tell him how she was able to create the light stone. Yuling told Yition that she will explain it to him after she drinks a healing potion. As Yuling focused on her healing, Yition began to think about how she was able to create such a thing. Yition wondered if Yuling used a space talent. He quickly realized that this was impossible. Yition remembered that Yuling did not have any space talent. After Yuling was done with her healing, she walked up to Yition and tapped him with her leg. She told him that she is done. She asked him if he still wanted to know about how she made the light stone. Yition told her that he does. Yuling picked up her bronze treasure chest and brought out a pouch. She moved the chest close to the pouch and the pouch swallowed it. Yition was surprised to see this. He realized that Yuling brought out the light stone from her pouch, which is a space-type treasure. Yuling asked Yition if he likes the pouch. With a smile on her face, Yuling told him that she will teach him how to use the pouch if he joins the martial pavilion. Yition ignored her and told her that he wants to sleep. Yuling was shocked to hear this. She clenched her fist out of anger and promised herself that she will recruit Yition at all cost. Yition was not impressed with the space pouch and the healing potion because he could have them once he copies a space talent and a healing talent. He did not see a reason to join the martial pavilion over some items. Yition knew that he could not enter the Lake of Death because Yuling and her comrades have caused a commotion there. He decided to wait in the cave for some time. When Yition woke up the next day, he noticed that Yuling was no longer in the cave. He realized that she left. When he looked around, he saw a red box. Yition did not know where the box came from. He was certain that the box was not in the cave yesterday. When he opened the box, he saw so many materials. The box contained a mid-tier profound training manual, 10 high-tier monster blood, and 10 gold cards. Each of the gold cards are worth 1,000,000 yuan. Yition realized that Yuling left these things for him. He was very grateful to her. He realized that he could enter the elite martial warrior realm with his current materials. Yition decided to change his plans. He decided to go after the immortal jellyfish after he becomes an elite martial warrior. He drank a bottle of monster blood and began to cultivate. For months later, we see Yition cultivating in the cave. He had drank all his monster blood. Yition has let his hair grow out. As Yition was cultivating, we see him open his eyes. When Yition opened his eyes, a heavy lightning hit his cave multiple times. After the lightning was done, the dust in the cave cleared up. We see Yition holding lightning in his hands. Yition had finally entered the elite martial warrior realm. Yition was fascinated by his new power. With a smile on his face, Yition said that it is time for him to hunt. On Yition's way to the lake, he saw 11 newly constructed graves. Yition immediately realized that Yuling was the one who made the graves for her comrades. Yition knew that Yuling was not able to get all her comrades' bodies because of the amount of monsters in the lake. He was surprised to see that Yuling could do something so kind for her comrades. Yition noticed something odd on one of the graves. He saw an umbrella on the grave. Yition quickly remembered that this was the umbrella which the old man used. Yition picked up the umbrella and opened it. He wondered if the umbrella was still useful. While Yition was looking at the umbrella, he noticed that the rain stopped touching him. Yition was surprised to see that the umbrella created a waterproof bubble. Yition was very happy with this item. He realized that he could now enter the water without any issues. Yition jumped into the lake and began to swim. As he swam deeper into the lake, he noticed that the umbrella increased his speed. He activated his shadow talent and went in deeper. As Yition was swimming, he saw a status window. Yition could not see the monster clearly because everywhere was dark. According to the status window, the monster is a tiger clawfish and it is a mid-tier monster. While Yition was looking at the status window, the monster came out of the dark. Yition was terrified to see the monster. He could not believe that such a monster was a mid-tier beast. Yition realized that the monster almost sensed his presence. He began to swim deeper into the lake. When Yition arrived at the deepest part of the lake, he wondered if the immortal jellyfish actually stayed there. While Yition was looking around, a monster snuck up on him from behind. The monster used its tentacles to attack Yition. Fortunately for Yition, he was able to sense the monster's presence. He quickly dodged the attack. Yition moved back in order to get a look at his enemy. When Yition looked up, he saw the monster's status window. The monster happened to be an immortal jellyfish. This monster possesses an apex tier healing talent. The monster used its tentacles to attack Yition again. Yition brought out his blade and used it to cut off the tentacles. The monster screamed in pain when Yition did this. Unfortunately for Yition, the monster possesses an apex tier healing talent. The jellyfish easily regenerated its tentacles. Yition was surprised to see this. He realized that apex tier healing talent is overpowered. The jellyfish attacked Yition again with its tentacle. As the tentacle came closer to him, Yition let his guard down. When the tentacle touched his hand, a small spark came out of it. The system told Yition that he has successfully copied the healing talent. Yition got pushed back immediately. He copied the talent. He smashed his back on a wall and fell to the ground. Yition stood up and smiled. He was happy to see that he had copied the talent he wanted. Immediately, Yition stood up. The jellyfish spat its acidic venom at him. Yition was surprised to see the acidic venom. He quickly used the umbrella as a shield. Unfortunately for him, the venom melted the umbrella and burnt his hand. Yition let go of the umbrella after his hand got injured. He had to let go of the umbrella because it could no longer maintain its waterproof bubble. Yition immediately held his breath the moment he let go of the umbrella. When Yition looked behind the jellyfish, he saw hundreds of status windows. Each of the status windows belonged to immortal jellyfishes. Yition realized that there was a swarm of immortal jellyfishes in the area. Yition had already gotten the talent he wanted. He did not see a reason to fight the immortal jellyfishes. He decided to run away. In the next scene, we see Yition bring his head out of the water. While doing his best to catch his breath, Yition noticed that the immortal jellyfishes were still chasing him. He jumped out of the water and activated his speed talent. Yition ran across the lake and distanced himself from the area. The scene shifts and we see Yition step into a cave. Immediately, Yition arrived at the cave. He sat down and let out a sigh. Yition was relieved to see that he had finally gotten away from the area. He decided to fuse his new talent. A status window appeared in front of him and asked him if he wanted to fuse the apex tier healing talent. Yition accepted this request. Immediately, Yition accepted the request. A surge of lightning moved across his body. Yition smiled as the talent was getting fused into his body. He realized that his body has gotten used to the pain of talent fusion. After experiencing pain for a while, the healing talent finally fused with Yition. Now Yition possessed an apex tier healing talent. Yition was happy to see that the fusion process was much easier. He decided to test his new talent. Yition noticed that he still had a wound which was caused by the immortal jellyfish venom. The immortal jellyfish venom is extremely deadly and fatal. A small amount of the venom can kill a normal person. Yition decided to use his healing talent to get rid of the wound. Immediately, he activated his healing talent. His wound cleared up. His hand looked brand new. Yition stood up and began to destroy the wall with his bare hands. After punching the wall for a while, Yition looked at his hands. He noticed that he did not have any form of injury. While looking at his hand, Yition realized that most of the talents he had were support-type talent. Yition knew that he had to copy attack-type talents if he wants to be able to fight with stronger people in the future. After thinking for a while, Yition realized that it is time for him to go home. In the next scene, we see Yu cutting Yition's hair. Yition was reading his book of monsters in order to find the next talent he wants to copy. While cutting Yition's hair, Yu called her brother a terrible person for leaving her alone for 4 months. She could not believe that her brother did not tell her his plans. Yition apologized to his sister. He asked her to forgive him. After Yu finished cutting his hair, Yition saw a unique monster in his book. This monster is called a mighty ant. It is a low-tier monster that specializes in fighting. It usually moves in colonies. Even a great martial warrior will have trouble fighting the ant. With a smile on his face, Yition realized that he had found the monster he was looking for. The scene shifts and we see Yition step into the martial pavilion. Yition walked up to the counter to meet Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu was surprised to see Yition. She asked him to tell her what he wants. Yition gave Xiaoyu a paper containing the mighty ant picture. He told her that he wants a complete body of a mighty ant. Xiaoyu smiled when she saw the picture. She assumed that Yition wanted to immerse the body of the mighty ant into wine. She asked Yition if he wanted to use the wine to reinvigorate his body. Yition was confused when he heard this. He wondered if he looked sick to Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu told Yition that they do not have any mighty ant bodies. She told him that she knows where he can get one. Yition asked her to tell him the place. Xiaoyu told Yition that Linhai Base and a mid-size base are constructing a commercial trade route. There are many beasts between the two bases. Among the several beasts is a mighty ant. Yi asked Xiao Yu if the mid-sized base is the Iron Fang base. Yi was certain that it was the Iron Fang base because it is the only base close to the Linhai base. Xiao Yu told Yi that he is correct. She told him that it is the Iron Fang base, which is 100 kilometers away from the Linhai base. Yi told Xiao Yu that someone from the Mo family died a while ago, and the Mo family suspects the Iron Fang base. Xiao Yu told Yi that the Mo family have made their investigations. She told him that the Iron Fang base helped the Mo family in clearing their misunderstanding while searching for something. Xiao Yu told Yi that the Iron Fang base was only able to reach an agreement with the Linhai base thanks to the Mo family's help. Yi was surprised to hear this. He believed that the Mo family was up to something. While Yi was thinking, Xiao Yu brought out a ticket. She handed the ticket over to Yi Yi asked her to tell him what the ticket is for. Xiao Yu told Yi that the ticket is a token which allows one to participate in the hunting event. She revealed to Yi that the ticket is actually for her young miss. She told him that they could never participate in an event hosted by a mid-sized base. With a smile on her face, Xiao Yu told Yi that the two bases are planning to send out martial warriors to hunt the monsters in the commercial trade route. She told Yi that he will be able to get his hands on a complete mighty ant if he participates in the event. The ticket which was given to Yi had the Lin surname on it. The Lin family are the absolute rulers of the Linhai base. Even the Mo family are seen as servants to them. Yi was excited to see the scale of the event. In the next scene, we see people gathered in a plaza. Yi was surprised to see that the Lin family was able to gather hundreds of martial artists at once. Yi carried a bag containing supplies and his weapon. He wore a red jacket to avoid getting any attention. While looking at the martial artist in the area, Yi realized that he had to proceed with caution. While Yi was looking around, 3 men stepped up to the stage. Among the 3 men, a man welcomes the martial artists to the beast removal operations. This man is Lin Ming. He is the current family head of the Lin family. He is an elite martial warrior who is at the peak of his realm. The other 2 men standing next to Ming were Zhang Qing and En. Yi smiled when he saw the 2 men. He was happy to see the Mo family again. Ming told the martial artists in the plaza that the Linhai base is too small. Thanks to this, they do not have enough resources to fulfill everyone's cultivation needs. He told the martial artists that collaborating with a mid-sized base will bring them a lot of incredible benefits. He told them that the operation is very important, of course. Ming knew that fighting monsters will be very dangerous. With a smile on his face, Ming told the martial artists that the prizes for the operation will be much better than that of previous hunts. The martial artists began to cheer when they heard this. They hailed the Lin family. Among the martial artists who were cheering, Yi noticed something odd. He noticed that Captain Gale Wolf was also among them. Yi smiled when he saw Gale Wolf. He wondered if Gale Wolf would still remember him. Ming placed his hand on his chest and assured the martial artists that anything they acquire during the operation will belong to them. The martial artists began to cheer again when they heard this. Ming told the martial artists that he still has another gift for them. He told them that everyone in the martial warrior realm will receive 20 bottles of mid-tier monster blood and 2 million yuan. He told them that the elite martial warriors will receive 3 bottles of high-tier monster blood and 10 million yuan. He asked the martial artists to register and join the hunt. The martial artists went crazy when they heard about the benefits. They praised the Lin family. They immediately went to line up. In front of the line was a huge rock. A lady told the martial artists that they need to place their hand on the assessment rock in order for it to check their strength. A man walked up to the rock and placed his hand on it. The rock told the man that he is a mid-tier martial apprentice. After the man checked his strength, more martial artists also checked their strength. While standing in line, Yi realized that Yu Ling was right. He believed that it would be stupid to work for any powerful family, especially the Mo family. Yi knew that he would get unnecessary attention if people found out that he is an elite martial warrior. Yi knew that the rock judges people's rank based on their power. He believed that the rock would display a lower realm if he uses less strength. When it was his turn, Yi was asked to place his hand on the rock. When Yi placed his hand on his rock, he controlled his energy. Yi hoped that the rock would rank him as a late-stage martial warrior. When the rock felt Yi energy, it judged Yi to be a late-stage martial warrior. En was surprised to see that Yi was a late-stage martial warrior. The other martial artists were shocked to see Yi realm. They could not believe that someone so young could be so powerful. They believed that Yi was a genius of a powerful family. The martial artists in the area were shocked by Yi Tian's cultivation talent. Yi Tian was surprised to see how the martial artists were behaving. He could not believe that everyone was impressed even though he only displayed a part of his strength. He was annoyed to see that he still got the attention he did not want. Yi Tian had forgotten that it was not actually normal for people of his age to reach such stage. Galewolf and his team also looked at Yi Tian with wonder. Captain Galewolf believed that geniuses are discovered while they are young. He told his team that he is a late-stage martial warrior despite his age. One of his teammates told him that everyone in the team are also only mid-stage martial warriors. Another team member asked Galewolf to invite Yi Tian into their team since they need one more member. Galewolf smiled when he heard this. He told his teammate that Yi Tian is a late-stage martial warrior. He told him that everyone wants Yi Tian. He told the man that Yi Tian would never choose them. Immediately Galewolf said this. His teammate told him that Yi Tian is coming towards them. Yi Tian walked up to Captain Galewolf. With a smile on his face, he told him that it has been a while since they met. Galewolf immediately remembered Yi Tian's face. He remembered Yi Tian as the martial apprentice who saved a little girl a year ago. Galewolf could not believe that Yi Tian became a late-stage martial warrior in a year. Yi Tian told Galewolf that he was lucky. He asked Galewolf if he can join his team. Galewolf immediately accepted Yi Tian's request. He told Yi Tian that he is welcome to join his team. Yi Tian asked Galewolf to take care of him. Galewolf asked Yi Tian to work hard. The archer who appears to be a lady tells Yi Tian that it is assuring to have another late-stage martial warrior in the team. Yi Tian felt awkward when he heard this. The scene shifts, and we see the team in the abandoned area. This area is their mission area. According to the map given to them, there are only weak-tier monsters in the area. Galewolf asked his team to be careful. He asked them to prioritize their safety above anything else. He warned them to not recklessly charge ahead. While Galewolf was talking to his teammates, monsters were running towards them. Yi Tian sensed the presence of the monsters. He told Galewolf that something is coming for them at an incredible speed. Before Galewolf and his teammates could react, 5 wolf monsters surrounded them. Galewolf asked his teammates not to panic. He called the monsters appetizers. He told his teammates that he will take care of the front. He asked Yi Tian to take care of the back. He asked the rest of his team to provide support when necessary. Yi Tian brought out his sword and asked Galewolf to leave the back to him. After staring the monsters in the eye, Galewolf asked Yi Tian to start the fight. Yi Tian listened to Galewolf's order. He ran to attack the monsters. The monsters also ran towards Yi Tian. Yi Tian killed one of the monsters with his sword, and then he moved back. When the second monster came close to him, it tried to bite him. Yi Tian used his leg to kick the monster away from himself. The monster flew back. The monster tried to get up and regain its strength. Unfortunately for it, Yi Tian closed the distance between them and stabbed it. After Yi Tian killed the monsters, Galewolf clapped for him. He told Yi Tian that he is awesome. He pointed at the monsters which he killed and told Yi Tian that he was a bit slow. He told Yi Tian that he killed 3 monsters. Yi Tian smiled when he heard this. The only reason he killed 2 monsters was because he did not want to reveal his strength. The archer commended Yi Tian on his kills. She told him that she is liking him more. Another teammate asked Galewolf to stop acting cocky. He told his captain that Yi Tian is quite impressive to be able to do such things at a young age. Galewolf yelled at his teammate. He told him that he wanted to enjoy the glory for a while. The teammate apologized to Galewolf. Yi Tian was surprised to see how the team behaved. While looking at the monsters' corpses, a team member told the rest if the team that the wolves would have had a better chance against them if they had attacked them in the valley. The man did not understand why the wolves rushed to attack them. Yi Tian told the man that the wolves must have been forced to attack. The man did not understand what Yi Tian was saying. With a serious look on his face, Galewolf told his teammate that there are stronger monsters in this area. The wolves had no choice but to run. The man became terrified when he heard this. He believed that they could not survive in this area. Another teammate placed his hand on the shoulder and asked him not to worry. He told the man that they have 2 late-stage martial warriors, and there are 3 mid-stage martial warriors. In order to calm his teammate, Galewolf brought out a walkie-talkie. The man was shocked to see this. He realized this was the Lin family's property. Galewolf told his teammates that the Lin family gave it to each captain. He told his teammates that he can use the walkie-talkie to call for support when they are in danger. With a smile on his face, Galewolf told his teammates that they can go all out without fear. Galewolf's teammate became relieved when he heard this. The group continued their journey. After walking for a while, Galewolf sensed the presence of a monster in the area. He quickly asked his teammates to halt. Yetion realized that the monster was on a building. He asked Gale Wolf to look up. When the team looked up, they saw a huge monster looking at them from a building. According to the status window which Yetion saw, this monster is a fire-breathing lizard, and it has a low-tier fire talent. While the group was looking at the monster, the lizard gathered energy in its mouth. Yetion immediately realized that the monster was about to use its fire talent. The monster launched its attack on the team. The group was able to dodge the attack. The monster jumped down from the building and stood in front of the team. Gale Wolf's teammates brought out their weapons and asked Gale Wolf to leave the monster to them. Gale Wolf could tell that the lizard was a low-tier monster thanks to its aura. He asked his teammates to be careful of its fire talent. After hearing what their captain said, the rest of the team rushed to attack the lizard. Yetion became worried when he saw this. He asked Gale Wolf if his teammates will be okay. Gale Wolf told Yetion that the lizard is just a low-tier monster. He asked Yetion not to worry about his teammates. After fighting for a while, we see that Gale Wolf's teammates have defeated the monster. Gale Wolf congratulated them on their victory. The archer told Gale Wolf that they were only able to defeat the lizard because the two men were quite capable. The teammate which the archer was holding told her that they could not have one if she did not distract the lizard with her arrows. The other man said that a low-tier monster is too weak. He said that it was easy for them to kill the monster. He told Gale Wolf that he would not mind fighting a few more monsters. Immediately he said this, something launched an attack on him. Before the attack could hit him, Yetion grabbed his leg and moved him out of the way. Gale Wolf was surprised to see that there were more monsters in the area. He realized that the monsters must be fire-breathing lizards thanks to the attack. Yetion glared at the monsters. He was surprised to see their number. The man who was almost attacked was terrified to see more monsters. He could not believe that there was 3 more lizards. Gale Wolf picked up his walkie-talkie and tried to call teams near Zone C. He requested for backup through his walkie-talkie.